Yes, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever you are, good evening. We are in Korea, one of our final games there. We're coming up against Bayern München. They have their own Korean player in Kim Min-jae. We have our own starlet and Sun Heung-min. And this is going to be the litmus test, as people have called it, because we're finally coming up against maybe quote unquote a proper side in this preseason friendly tour of ours. And we'll see how the boys fare. We'll see how they end up shaping up against this Bayern Munich team. Ange Postecoglou's gone for a slightly altered lineup here, Dave. Hopefully the pre-match build-up went well with you, and we're going into what is supposed to be one of the more anticipated preseason games here. So what are your expectations, Dave? What do you want to see? And how are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm keeping well, Jacko. First of all, thank you very much. Pre-match build-up went well. People seem to have enjoyed it. Look, I do think the lineup that Postecoglou selected is going to be more of a lineup that we're going to see start against Leicester. Um, Jed Spence at left back, very interesting call there, but you can't say he hasn't earned these minutes, so hopefully he takes them today. But I do think today is going to be a good litmus test. Bayern Munich they still have some youngsters out there, but they've still got a fairly strong squad out there, and it'll be a true test to see where we're at, where we are at 2 weeks out from that Leicester game. There's been a lot over pre-season that you can't take a lot from the likes of the QPR, Hearts,
Hmm.
Kobe games like that. Okay, to a certain degree, about fitness and stuff like that. But today will be the true test of where we're at heading into this season. Ideally, we would like to see a few more signings integrated into this lineup. That hasn't happened yet. But today will be a good test. I think it'll also be a good test for the youngsters coming off the bench to see if they can have similar impacts that they've had on games in
Hmm.
previous games where they've come off the bench. It'll be a true test of their quality as well. So I'm excited for today, Jack. It's a big game against a big opponent, and this is the true litmus test of where we're at heading into the season.
Excellently put there, Dave. Let us know, everybody, if we sound okay, if anybody needs to be turned up, if anybody needs to be turned down, all that good all that good stuff, all that good Spurs. We'd like to see good Spurs today. Good to see already so many people in the house joining us. I'm already seeing at the bottom of the chat Gary Newton joining from West Texas. I love that up, Gary Newton. Shout out to one of my favorite states, Texas, and so many people in the chat already. Dreadlock74, Barry, Alexander Villaris, Paul Connor as well. We have Toffee20, K32, Tottenham Forever, and Rowan Kumar. So many good people in the house joining us. But let's go through the lineup here, everybody. In front of you, we have the Kulusevski is on the cover. The Kulusevski army, Dave's army. One of Dave's many armies is feeling strong tonight. That's a good sign that he's on the cover photo of the lineups today. We have Vicario in goals, Pedro Porro at right back, Dragashin at center back with Davies as the other center back and Spence at left back. Before I go further, I must say I'm actually impressed by some of Dave's predicted lineup skills, which we'll see, more towards the actual regular season. But I think we did go for a Dragashin, if I'm not mistaken, as maybe a possible inclusion with this game. And I'm pretty sure you went further by saying that Davies would be used as more of a left-sided center back in this game instead of as a left back, which even though I don't necessarily want to see Davies on a regular basis in this team, I do think that this is, if you have to play him, a much better position for him playing in that left-sided center back role than it is at that left back role. And Spence starting to really show that trust by Ange Postecoglou, and you wonder if Ange not only sees him as good competition for Pedro Porro at the right back position, but you also wonder if Spence can be trusted as an alternative to Destiny Udogie alongside a Jamie Donnelly in the left back position, because Destiny Udogie last season, he really suffered not having any real proper backup, I felt like, of any kind that could really fill in for him, because we had loaned out Reguilón, someone that Ange Postecoglou just clearly doesn't rate. And then we had, I think, really only Ben Davies as the potential backup for him. It just was such a different player, such a big drop off. And I wonder if Spence can provide something similar to what we would get from a Destiny Udogie. I think Donnelly actually, and I think I find this fascinating, so I'm sorry if I'm ranting already about this position, but with Donnelly, I think we were getting something very different to Destiny Udogie in a lot of good ways. But we did also talk about, is that really a player that can handle, coming up against like a Serge Gnabry or a Leroy Sané, because the kid has practically played almost every single position so far at Spurs other than goalkeeper at this point, Jamie Donnelly. And as much as I rate the guy, as much as he's an intelligent footballer, I want to see him, be played at maybe positions that do better suit him, especially when you are coming up against really top quality opponents, because again, the guy is still only practically a teenager and he should be given, I think, opportunities more in the positions that do really suit him. So I wonder when he does come on, if he does come on in the second half at one point, if Jamie Donnelly will be subbed in at left back or if he'll be used as more of a creative midfielder. That's something to be seen for later. Before I get Dave's thoughts on that, we're just going to go through the rest of the lineup here. We have Sarr in the midfield alongside Archie Gray, who won't be playing as a center back in this one, which is interesting. No Basuma. And James Maddison keeping a spot in the number 10 position in front of Bergval, still being shown that confidence by Ange Postecoglou. Brandon Johnson is out on the right. Kulusevski down through the middle, and then Sonny, our talisman, with some gorgeous, gorgeous goals in the last preseason friendly out on the left. Would love to see that. Would love to be woken up by some Sonny goals later in this game. But Dave, I mean, yeah, the lineup, there's some interesting calls from Postecoglou, and a lot of them I really like.
I think, first of all, the fact that Emerson's not playing, and is he on the bench? I'm not quite sure if he's on the bench.
Whoa, that's a good spot. Is he? Yes, he is on the bench. Yes, he is
on the bench. But the fact that he's not starting shows to me, I think, that he's on his way out the club, that there will be a deal very soon done after we arrive back from Korea. So I think you can take that means Emerson's gone, because if anyone was going to start beside Dragusin today, it would have been Emerson based off his performance against the K-League. So I think that probably alludes that he's gone. I agree with you on Donnelly. Hopefully today is the day, Jack, where we get to see him further up the pitch off the bench. That's what I would like to see, for him to be able to showcase what he can do further up the pitch. So hopefully that happens. But Jed Spencer's an interesting call. Look, Emerson moved out there last season towards the end of the season, and ultimately playing at left back put an end to his Tottenham career, because at centre back and right back he was good. As soon as he went out to left back, he got absolutely railroaded, roasted, and let's be honest, it put an end to his Tottenham career. So it'd be interesting to see how Jed Spence can handle it. Can he provide, runs like Donnelly done that will take players away from Son and get him into the game, isolate him one-on-one with his man. Going into the midfield, Jack, I actually think the Basuma call is very interesting. Is Basuma going to be used like a Højbjerg was last season, this season, off the bench to make an impact, speed things up? I think the call maybe around Archie Gray today is to see if he can actually bring a bit more solidity, a bit more of a screen protector in front of that back line, and hopefully eliminate the amount of times we get caught on the counter, because Bayern Munich are going to be a lot better going forward than anything we face so far, and we've been pretty easily ripped open. So it'll be interesting. I think that's probably what the experiment is there in that regard. Maddison back in today, absolutely huge opportunity for him. I think I've been very underwhelmed with him this preseason, to be brutally honest with you. If I'm James Maddison, I would have wanted to come back and hit the ground running. It does seem like he's frustrated. He hasn't contributed a lot the other day against the K-League All-Stars. He took a lot of snapshots when I felt like, if he wasn't so hungry to make an impact right now, we probably would have laid them in for others to tap home and would have been an easier game on the day for us. And then up front, I mean, what can I say? First of all, Kulusevski up front, he's been absolutely brilliant up front, Jack, this season so far in the preseason. Anytime he's played for Tottenham, even last season, the 2 times he played for Tottenham, I'd argue they've been his best performances. There's a lot around Solanke at the minute, 68 million. A lot of Spurs fans don't really want the guy at this football club. So, we need Kulusevski to keep performing up front at this moment in time until we find that right solution. And then on the right side, I'm extremely disappointed in this call, to be brutally honest with you. People can keep coming to me with all the excuses they want about Brennan Johnson. Look, I will listen to them. I will hear people out. Sometimes, well, actually a lot of the times people make good points and stuff like that. But for me, it's the end product. It's just absolutely non-existent. And the space he's had in pre-season to deliver them balls, and he hasn't, is actually concerning, because come the Premier League, he's not going to get that time and space. So I would have preferred to see Mikey Moore in there from the start today. Like I said, I want to see what a Moore and Son combination off the wings can actually bring in terms of creativity. I feel like, personally, it would rip teams apart having them two running at players. Like, Mikey Moore may be 16. He's already got the body shape and the size of a man already. And for me, I just want to see that. I think people go, Johnson's only finding his fitness. Okay, but if I'm a 23-year-old lad and I'm watching a 16-year-old lad come off the bench week in, week out, assist goals and score goals, at some point I'm going to be worried about my position. But it just doesn't seem like Brennan Johnson is. He was non-existent last week. Let's see what he does today.
He's such a different player to Mikey Moore, and that's also the thing, right? We're not going to get even when Brennan Johnson plays really well, I just think it would still be a very different type of style of performance to that of a Mikey Moore, which does make this kind of competition really fascinating because they're not similar players. So you're going to get things very differently. Mikey Moore might not make as many runs behind as someone like Brennan Johnson, but someone like a Mikey Moore could be more consistently involved in the actual creative play in that forward line, and it does make it a very interesting dynamic. And it would be nice at some point, if we get to see it, Mikey Moore also play alongside Pedro Porro, because this entire time we've seen Mikey Moore play with Jet Spence on that right side, and we haven't been able to see him combine with Porro, and we've seen a lot of Brendan Johnson and Pedro Porro together, and we'll be able to see that more today. Just quickly to the bench, and then we'll get to the lovely chat, and so many people in there already joined us. Really appreciate you guys picking us as our watch-along destination, and just even trusting us, to provide you guys the commentary and the coverage for these games. We really do appreciate all of you. And Brandon Austin is in goals alongside Alfie Whiteman. Those are the two, or actually three. We get to see Luca Gunter, my favorite, in the goalkeeping options on the bench there. Emerson Royale, like Dave mentioned, is being relegated to the bench, perhaps a sign that he could be off to AC Milan sometime soon next week. We have George Abbott, the under-21 midfielder. Skip is in there too with Basuma. Those could be seen as sort of the defensive midfield options, apart from Archie Gray, who's already starting. Alfie Devine, who's played pretty well this preseason, but maybe still not fully trusted by Ange Postecoglou yet, is on the bench, as well as Tyrese Hall, one of my favorites, wasn't even really mentioned or wasn't even really brought up, I think, in the last game. So I wonder if he's also kind of maybe needing a bit more time to impress Ange Postecoglou. You have Lucas Bergvall, who is being relegated to the bench instead of someone like a James Madison, which is an interesting call. Jamie Donnelly out on the bench as well with Mikey Moore. We have Solomon and Werner as the two, or alongside Moore as kind of some of the winger options. Alejo Valise, Dane Scarlett, and Lancashire are the striker options. No Doji on the bench, and no Richarlison on the bench, and no Ashley Phillips as well on the bench, which is an interesting call. I wonder if Ashley Phillips is still kind of feeling the repercussions of that tweak or of that injury at some point over this preseason, which is a disappointment because it would have been nice to see him be given more minutes throughout this time.
Phillips is still injured for sure. Destiny Adoji still coming back from that injury, so I'm concerned about his available and fitness ready for the Leicester game. And then the other one, Valise, I think that probably signals that he's going to be sent out on loan, like I predicted, Jack, because the foreign side of the squad is almost at its capacity. There's not much more room. So I think, he'll probably be shipped out on loan. And like we discussed yesterday, I think Will Lancashire has probably stolen the march on him and Dane Scarlett, it looks like.
Yeah, because Ange Postecoglou has definitely leaned on him first before the other ones in this. But let's go to the chat, see what's up. People are in here. Really appreciate Dreadlock74. Barry saying, I'll be a member Monday. Need to sort out a few things. My subscriptions. Barry, there's really no pressure, sir. And also, if you need to, at any point, want to come on or something like that, we can arrange something for you. We can give you, even a little trial run or something like that. But, it's no pressure. It's nothing like, that you need to be forced to be a member. It's just something that Dave and I do want to promote because we're going to try to do a lot better by our members this upcoming season. So really do appreciate you even wanting to become one, and also thanks for even picking us, like I said earlier, as our watch-along destination. Big up to you, Barry. Thank you, sir. Alexander Valaris is in the house too. Really appreciate you, Alexander. Saying if Madison doesn't show up, he should be subbed off in the 20th minute. He's definitely, he's saying, I'm not doing this again today with Madison. I'm not doing it. He better show up. Well, Alexander clearly losing his patience with James Madison there. And don't necessarily blame you. I think I've lost my patience once or twice with him last season. Paul Connor says, pick up Jack and Dave. Let's go. Let's go. Bit disappointed with Matters getting a starting place and can't wait for Davies to be dropped back to fourth place center back. Would rather see more than Johnson on the wing. Come on, you Spurs. I think we pretty much just said the same thing earlier there. Paul Connor, great minds think alike. We also have Toffee20 in the house. K32, really appreciate you, K32. Good morning from Ireland. Hope you are well, Dave and Jack. Come on, you Spurs. We also have Tottenham Forever. Ryan's in the house. He's saying, big up Dave and Jack. Hopefully Solanke does not come to the club. One season wonder. Would rather have Tony. Price is too expensive. Love you guys. Much love. Keep up the good work. Well, Ryan, seems like you're in a similar boat to Dave, and I'm not surprised. I think you guys do think quite similarly on a lot of things, you and Ryan. And he's not a big Solanke fan either. Looks like I'm going to have to continue to do more press work for the big Dom. Rowan Kumar says, big up, everybody. Bayern with strong lineup will be a good test. And that's exactly right, Rowan. I think this is a game where the majority of people, whether you've been buying into the hype around some of the youngsters in the preseason, or if you like to read a lot into the preseason, this is one where I think you can definitely feel more justified in doing that. Or if you've been someone, which I think is perfectly understandable, perfectly normal, to not read too much into the preseason and not have too many, serious takeaways, this would be a game where you probably start to do that, where you start to maybe think a
Yeah.
bit more seriously about it. So I think it's kind of more of a merging halfway point with all these different takes about the preseason. So big up to you, Rowan, and thank you for your support as well. Yesterday during the match preview for all the members, PH Family's in here, Gary Newton from Texas, big up to you, Slim Boy Tubbs, the one and only, Rom V is in the house as well. Good day, gents, from down under in Sydney. PH Family saying, would like to have seen Bergvall starting, but glad Spence has worked his way into the starting lineup. Alberto's in here. We also have Fat Tony saying Dave was in fine form on Last Word on Spurs last night. Like to hear that,
Oh,
Fat Tony. And also, you're up very early alongside myself here. Big up to you, sir. Pedro Mendez is in here. Black Wolf, really appreciate you. Got the coffee brewing. Well, I'm jealous, Black Wolf. A little too early in the evening for me to be having the coffee. I think I might go to bed after we do the Twitter reacts today and save up on some type of sleep. Just a girl who loves Spurs. Big up to Kate, the one and only. Stellar's J saying, well, Jack, here we are again at 3:45 a.m. I don't know what we're doing to ourselves. Stellar's J must be just the bug of Spurs and the bug of the upcoming season. This is getting a little crazy. I can't even believe that people go through this on a regular basis. The Ribsies, the Dark Sun G's of the world. It is really crazy to think about that these guys are just doing this on such a regular basis. Wemberley's in here too, Dave. He's saying with a super chat, hello guys, simply stunning that a club of our stature cannot field a proper central striker of any kind. Well, it is a signing that a lot of people have wanted to see happen, Dave, sooner rather than later, and it hasn't happened, and we're now doing this Kulusevski experiment, which has been working really well, but do you share that frustration that Wembley's having with the proper central striker?
No, 100%. I find it ironic that I get called a happy clapper, and I was the only one that stood there and said not to sell Harry Kane because I don't trust the club to go and, fill his boots adequately. And yet here we are sitting here screaming and moaning about a striker. And because I say, rather than bring in Solanke, I'd rather take my chance with Kulu because I don't rate Solanke, I'll get called a happy clapper. I don't understand it personally when I was the only one that put my neck on the line at the time and said, hang on, guys, let's look at this objectively here. Absolute madness. Anyway, it is shocking. Absolutely shocking Wembley won. Look, I'll always maintain, and it's proven, goals are the hardest thing to do in football, scoring goals. That striker, especially if it is Solanke they're after, could have been done a lot earlier in this window. It didn't have to be waiting here till scratching around, two weeks out from the season looking to try and get this guy in. He wasn't at any international competitions. This could have been done before pre-season so that you give him a chance to integrate into the squad, not only for his benefit, but also Ange Postecoglou spoke all last season about wanting to win trophies. So haven't we got him in already to integrate him? If that's the guy that Spurs have pinpointed, it feels like to me we were sort of led to believe it was going to be a Tony and an Eze, but somewhere along the line, and we're probably going off. We've probably been turned off by the asking prices that we're going to have to pay for these guys. So now it feels like we're pivoting and taking a gamble in Neto, who is a fantastic, fantastic player, but with the amount of injuries, you're taking a huge gamble. Dominic Solanke had a great season last season, but he's 26. It's the first time he's hit that numbers at this level. Is he a one-season wonder? Again, it's a huge gamble to think that he's going to come in and replicate that at Tottenham Hotspur. He very may well, but it's a huge gamble. We should be going for players like Eze, Tony, that gets the fan base juices flowing, that we know are going to make a difference in games. It's absolutely shocking. Like, what did the club think? When they sold Harry Kane, when they got that 100-odd million, that what they're going to do. The fact that they didn't even have a concession plan, and they're willing to sell him without having that concession plan, is even worse, Wembley one. It's just bad planning altogether, to be brutally honest with you. And you're absolutely spot on.
And Ange Postecoglou, like plenty of other managers, is just having to make it work. Wembley, right?
Yep.
He's experimenting with Kulusevski, which I think it could work out for him. It could be a saving grace for Ange Postecoglou. And then he might have to continue to use Richarlison. Again, it felt like he liked Richarlison, but I wonder with all the injuries if he might start to lose a bit of faith in him because he just can't be totally relied on to stay fit this whole time. And so Ange Postecoglou, like plenty of managers in the past, is just kind of being forced to make it work, and always leads then to a bit of kind of disconnect and a bit of kind of a struggle, I think, between, owner and manager when this type of thing happens. We also have the one and only, yeah.
Just quickly, and you hit on a point there. Postecoglou is now the one being pulled out. He's being asked about his tactics and everything else, you know, and he's going to be the one that's going to pay the price. And
Mhm.
this is what worries me, you know, the board, like, look, everyone puts pressure on the board to go and try and sign these players. They just don't listen to us fans, unfortunately. They do not listen.
Yeah.
But, like, just do it for Ange then. Do it for the guy that you brought in here to task to bring this club forward. And no, what's happening now is everyone's going to get on Ange's back as soon as the season starts because some things haven't gone our way because we didn't do certain things in the transfer window, and he's going to be the fall guy. Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we've learned our lessons from years gone by. But let's wait and see. But I think that's a very important point, Jack, about, you know, Ange Postecoglou. He's going to be the only one that's going to pay the price.
That's
We'll
certainly.
still be here after him. The club, the board will still be here after him. The players will.
Yeah, that sadly will still we will still always be here. That's that we can't go and be given a severance package like maybe Daniel Levy would give Ange Postecoglou. Adrian Chia, the one and only, really appreciate you, sir. He's saying put in my super chat early to avoid any jinx. I mean, Adrian Chia, I
Yeah.
know you're probably not because baseball is a bit more. It's very big in Japan, right, and very big in the USA. But I know you're out in Singapore. But I do find that you have a very sort of baseball-like superstition, sort of characteristic to yourself, where you do have that kind of those superstitions or kind of I forget the other word that people often use for it, where they have kind of the feelings around the games and everything, and they don't want to jinx anything. So I actually like that you often think that way. I used to be that way a lot
You have to be smart.
when I played sports myself, more often. I was very much that way, and I always was doing super random stuff to try to not jinx myself or try to not take myself out of some type of good luck or some type of good form. And so I do find that very funny that you're a bit similar, Adrian Chia. And let's be honest, it's only preseason. No reason to be worrying about the jinxing or anything like that yet.
Yeah.
Save some of the jinxes for later. But really do appreciate you, sir. Daniel Larson's in the house. You have to say hello to him. He's an absolute goat. Really appreciate you, as is DJ Samuel. Big up to you, DJ. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. Feel like we
What
have
did
seen
you
you in the chat every now and again, but I hope you've been having a good summer, by the way, DJ. Big up to you. Gary Stone, good to see you. DeFarsher, we have Robert in the house too. We have Thomas. Big up to you, Thomas. Big up, everyone. Hope we are well and good. I trust you guys with my hearts. Jack.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thomas, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, maybe to Adrian, maybe wait a little bit till you give us too much trust. It's only preseason, but really appreciate you. Danny Darko, good to see you in the house. Big up Dave and Jack and all Spurs fans. 3-1 to the mighty Spurs today. Looking forward to this one, lads. I am too. Big up to you, Danny Darko. We also have another one of the GOATs in the house. It's King Hoddle. He's saying I'll go for a 3-2 win, having seen their 11. Interesting, King Hoddle. 3-2 win. I definitely would take. Longy says, I think Ange is still undecided about Johnson this game. I wonder if he'll start making his mind up about him. You can only hope, Longy. But again, only preseason, and Ange Postecoglou, this is what it's kind of all for, right? This is what these preseason games are for. Tottenham Tom's in here. Yid Army's in here. Dave talking sense as always. I think he tries his best to. Yid Army, we certainly do. Gabrielle 1 saying I prefer Richie and Decky as a 9 versus Solanke at the moment. Man, I think Dave does too. We have Wayne Lang in here too. Good to see you from Adelaide. Hansy G, the one and only Lazy 8, the other goat of this channel. Big up to see you in the house. Spurs Diehards TV. We have or Tottenham Till I Die. Adrian Troca in here. We have Tyler in here. Big up to you. The Big T. You're up nice and early, Big T. Andrew M's in here. Shikari Shock. Really appreciate you, Shikari Shock.
Nick Brown, Brett Loghead, great to see you as well. Same with Sinal, Robert, J Mac, and Stevie Fraser.
So many
Good to see
good
all
people.
you guys as well.
Rain Man saying, Jack, early AM coffee fund. We appreciate you guys. Now, listen, Rain Man, like I said, it's too early for me to be having the coffee because I think if I did, I wouldn't actually have any opportunity or any chance of even attempting to have a
Are you a
nap.
flavor guy?
No, Dave, it's straight black coffee for me. And
Yeah, good.
I like in fact, I like very, very strong coffee. I kind of call it the
Yeah.
sludge. I have a bit of like coffee sludge before in the mornings.
It's
But
nothing worse than a weak coffee. Nothing worse, especially because you only order a coffee when you need it, right? It's worse when it's weak. It's like, what was the point? I may as well just order tap water.
I think if I'm a bit hungover and I don't need a strong coffee, I do actually like the they call it diner coffee here, or maybe that's what I would call it, kind of a weak, watery coffee. I don't mind it, actually. There's a time and a place for it. There's a certain aesthetic for it. But in this situation, if I were to have a coffee, it definitely would be a nice and strong one. But I definitely don't need
Mm.
it this morning, Rain Man. It's just a little too ridiculously
Needs
early
an
for
Irish
me.
coffee this morning, Rayman.
Yeah, maybe so, maybe so. But definitely later, Rain Man. Appreciate you. Just right now, just water, just trying to stay awake as best I can. But Spurs, you just wake up and Spurs are the ones that keep you awake. True Poch or True Pack. I'm sorry if I can't, get the right pronunciation on that, but really appreciate you
Pac-Man.
becoming a fan show member. We would love to see you this next upcoming fan show. We'll give you an update on what day this next week it will be, but True Pac would
Mm.
really love to see you on it. And also so many people that have been gifted memberships by Davey Shire as well as Rob Wallace. We really would like to see you guys take advantage of it, please, if you can. I understand that, it's hard to maybe make some of the shows, but we really would like to see you come on. Any people take advantage of some of those gifted memberships. We also have Elvis G in the house. Yeah, Dave, were you about to say something?
Is this a crossbar challenge going on here?
Yeah, I was gonna say I had to refresh it for a sec, but maybe I'm not even too sure. I wonder if these are. I don't want to
K-pop
assume. Yeah,
legends.
maybe K-pop stars. I don't want to assume, but that is what I'm going to assume. And they're doing a good job of making everybody entertained. Elvis G saying, "Keep up the great work, Dave. You were great on Last Word on Spurs last night."
Look, do you know what? I appreciate that, my man. I really do. Look, I got invited on. Earlier on that day, I said I'd go on. I stuck to my beliefs. I didn't change. If I didn't think things are good enough, I said it. And if I think things are good, I praised it. And I'm glad people enjoyed my contribution. It looks on the whole that many people did. So, thank you very much, and thank you very much for tuning in support. You guys are the only reason why I get asked onto these shows and stuff like that. So, it's a massive thank you to you.
A little laggy
Do you
out
know
there.
what, actually, just quickly, it is something that's come around in full circle, because I remember before I started doing any of this Champions League final and stuff, I used to listen to a lot of Last Word on Spurs, especially on, they had their show on Love Sport where people could ring in and stuff like that, or Love Radio or something like that, where people could ring in. And then to be invited on it, and be on it then a few years later is absolutely madness, because at the time I had no intention of doing any YouTube or anything like that. It didn't even cross my mind. So it's absolutely madness, sort of come full circle. So thank you very much, man.
Yeah, very, very kind of you, Elvis G. And thanks to anybody who followed Dave over to Last Word on Spurs, made him feel comfortable, made it known to the Last Word on Spurs crew that Dave is definitely a wanted man. And also as well, big up to Shem Tan. Good to see Brett Loft, Nick Brown in here. And I think there's somebody who's a very long time member that I might have just missed in the chat. Stevie Frazier, really appreciate you. DY. T2. Gosh, I think there was a name in there that I might have missed, so I really apologize because I know there was an absolute legend in the house.
Maddox.
Shawnee Maddox, that's who it was. Yes, Shawnee Maddox saying, "How do you take your coffee?" I take it strong, and I take it just
No milk,
no
no
milk,
sugar.
no sugar, no nothing. That's how I
Yeah.
do it, Shawnee Maddox. And then
Man after my
Shemtan,
heart, Jack.
thanks the great Dyer on the bench. Missed that guy.
Do you know what? Do you know what? It'd actually be good to watch him be crap for another team, actually, rather than it stress me out, to be honest with you. I can actually laugh at it this time, sharing time. So, be brilliant. And if we're losing, hopefully to bring him on, we'll score about 4 or 5. Bayern are in behind here, though. Can Jed Spence get there? Oh,
Oh,
I think Jed Spence maybe wasn't aware of the danger in behind him. He sort of let that go.
yeah.
Not a good start there from Jedi. Look at this, Jack. Maybe I'm being harsh, but he did. It's like he took a glance. He's caught in two minds here, Jed.
Well, I think what a lot of
He let it run across him, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a bit of that, but it also might have just been probably the brilliance of Thomas Mueller there, just playing that little clip through ball there, and he just wasn't
Mm.
prepared for it. I mean, Thomas Mueller, plenty of people would know, probably my favorite player of all time, and still doing it to this day at whatever 36, 37, and and he's such an unesthetically pleasing player when you watch him, but that's what he'll do. He'll
Mm.
play those little clip balls. He'll see that pass that other people don't see. He's a very funny player like that, and Jed Spence has to be well aware of that and well prepared for it. Vicario, though, he's already showing some confidence with the ball at his feet, which is nice to see. Davies clearing it away. Bayern with a good start, but Spurs, can they break out from here and get their own good start? Pedro Porro with a brilliant ball down the wing, and he
Oh,
finds
great
Brendan
ball.
Johnson.
Johnson, do something. Oh, my holy fuck. He
Um,
can't even get it under control. Jesus Christ. What is wrong with this kid? Honestly, he's got two left feet.
it's a disappointment, too, because I'm not sure who it was, Dave, because we weren't able to get a proper look at it because Brendan Johnson wasn't able to get it under control. But
If
there
you played
was
Werner in
somebody
behind, he wouldn't even do that.
there was somebody who was making a late run to kind of help him out there, and if he was able to get it under control, he would have been able to find him. There would have been a good chance there. Great ball from Pedro Porro.
Shocking. Even Werner wouldn't have done that.
Tyler saying this is way too early for me to be seeing that.
Way too early. I just want to head up.
Tyler's questioning why he's woken up just to see Brendan Johnson do that. Great ball from Pedro Porro, though, by the way, everybody. Great out ball.
Yeah. Fantastic ball by the Porinator. Dragusin. Back to Vic.
Back to the big Vic. Oh,
Oh,
Vic!
no, that's a suicide ball for Vicario. What a save, though. Can he make a double?
Oh,
No,
it's
1-0
terrible.
I don't know why he's blaming Jed Spence there. It's absolute suicide. The guy was following right into the penalty area. Why would you give it to him? That's just stupid from Vicario. Wake up.
That's
Holy
horrible.
shit.
That's terrible from Big Vic. Just as I said, he was looking confident. He's a little too confident.
Absolutely atrocious from Vicario. It's really poor. It's only him to blame. Look, don't start pleading with everyone else, Vicario. Just hold your hands up.
That's really poor. That's really, really poor.
It's shocking. Like, who was it? Jed Spence peels off. He doesn't even really want it. I mean,
It's just not even
he's
open.
already being tracked and followed. It's just piss poor from Vicario. It's absolutely a piss poor decision making.
It's just not even open, really. And he kind of then he gets megged on the finish. It'd be a hard save to make, but he doesn't. He gets megged on the finish as well. Just bad from Big Vic. Very, very poor.
Oh, that's poor. That's really shit. Oh, come on, Spurs. It's Saturday. Don't ruin my weekend already.
Can we make
sorry,
Neuer make a mistake? He's probably even cooler in possession. That's the problem.
It's a good ball out by Bayern Munich, though. They're in behind, or they're at us again. They're running down Ben Davies' side. Gnabry chooses to cut inside here. Goes for the switch of play. Over Pedro Porro's head.
Finds
the fullback,
Guerrero.
I think that's Guerrero.
Yeah.
Is it Guerrero?
Yeah, Guerrero, I believe, is out wide. Come to think of it, too, which is interesting. You know, Vincent Kompany, of course, again, it's only a friendly, but Vincent Kompany might know Ange Postecoglou's game relatively well, you know, from his time playing him when he was the coach of Burnley.
No, for sure. And, you know, he's obviously going to try and instill his sort of football and philosophy as well here. And, you know, at Bayern Munich, you know, will that style replicate? You know, he done what he could at Burnley, but maybe he was criticised for not adapting, you know, with the squad he had and stuff. But so far, he sent them after us, and the press is working. It's a corner kick in from Bayern Munich. This would be a good test. See if we did. Vicario punches
with not
away.
a convincing punch, really, there.
It's a shit header away from Dragusin as well. Well done, Sonny.
Pedro Porro trying to get it cleared. Dragusin.
Let that go. Well done.
That's actually very cool and composed from Dragusin there, actually.
Yeah.
Like that. Ben Davies. Good pass. Into Kulusevski, who can't get it under control. Thomas Muller.
Oh, Bayern are in here again. It's another ball in behind. Oh, no, it's not convincingly dealt with by... Who's that? Pedro Porro. 2 headers to get that back to Vicario. Spurs caught sleeping here in the opening 6 minutes. Need to fucking wake up. Ben Davies back. We can't even get out of our own box. The one time we did, Brendan Johnson couldn't even get it under control. Vicario.
Well done,
That's a much
Vic.
better ball out.
Kulusevski getting absolutely trampled on.
Bayern are coming into this very aggressive.
They are very aggressive. I think the Bundesliga start slightly after the Premier League, though, so they are...
Yeah, I think it's a week or two, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they start about a week or two after the Premier League, so technically they would have more time even to prepare, and they're well up for this game. Maybe Vincent Kompany a little salty after some of the defeats in the Burnley games. Vicario.
Probably. He's got a point to prove anyway, that's for sure.
Madison, out wide to Ben Davies.
10 touches to pass it backwards. Well done.
Sorted out, boys, says King Hoddle. Yeah, they started off a little rattled.
Do you know what it is? It's just... It's like they didn't think Brian would come at them with this intensity and stuff like that. I mean, it's a game of football. What do you... Like, what... I just don't get it. How are you not expecting it? It's Bayern Munich. How are you not up for it?
Shawnee Maddox saying, Dave, you're going to let this friendly ruin the weekend.
Oh, look, Shawnee, you know me. Look, I'm a loser. You know, unfortunately, Tottenham Hotspur and football is my only hobby. You know, so it will ruin my weekend.
Good to see you, Davey Hall. Really appreciate you, member of the David Army. Steve D. How you doing, Steve?
Big up, Stevie.
Saying hi, boys. Very sloppy from Vic. Yes, it was, Steve.
Yeah, very sloppy. Dragusin. onto Ben Davies. Passes it forward onto Sonny.
Good
Great
touch
touch by
from
Sonny on the
Sonny.
inside. Burns 2.
Sonny!
Lays it up.
Oh,
Nah, he's never had
I needed
he
to
was going
hype
to
him
hit
up
the
there
target.
more. Needed to hype him up there more. He probably would have been able to bang it, but good first
I just
touch
knew
from
by the
Sonny.
angle he was never going to get that one.
Yeah, it's also your first strike of the game. You know, that would be pretty spectacular if you're going to. Must be really feeling himself after that spectacular goal against the K-League 11. It was a good first touch, not a good finish.
Come on, Spurs. Let's up the ante now. Drag us in.
And if you were to be harsh on Sonny, you could maybe say that while the team is a bit rattled, he might not want to take that option. James Madison
Lord.
giving it away.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
I think this is Pavlovich in midfield. Out wide to Guerrero.
That's stupid from Madison. You know, he's just putting you under pressure there. It's a sloppy shit pass. And it's every time when the ball comes to him now. It's a ball out from the back. One ball and they're beating the whole team on our back four here. Ken Spence, slow this down. Switch of play here. Out to Guerrero. Is that Tell?
Yeah, I think that's Tell. Matisse Tell. Pavlovich to Kim Min Jae.
That's it, Sonny. Unlucky.
I think that's Sasha Bowie, I believe, the former Galatasaray fullback. Serge Gnabry's had a good start. Good job by Sarr. Great win. Man on, Sarr. Man on, man on.
Well done. Great ball carry.
Kulu.
Fucking great ball
what
carry.
What can he do? Come on, Kulu.
Shoot.
Oh, what a move.
Shoot.
Oh, what a move.
Where's them? Oh, what a block. Who's that number 49? That is serious defending.
I think that's Stanisic. Gosh, he's annoying.
That's great defending from him.
He's annoyingly good.
Great play by Papa Sarr. Showing a bit of initiative, getting up there, getting in, bit of pressure on the ball, taking off them, done great strength with the run. On to Kulu. It looks like Kulu maybe done it there. Turned Kim Min Jae inside out, and that's great defending coming across the cover there on the block.
Well done by Kulusevski.
Tottenham with a corner kick. Are we going to go with the near post routines like we did in the last game? Seems like it. We've got the choo-choo train, the Garrett Southgate train lined up here. Madison with the delivery. Oh, it's taken off Ben Davies' head.
Danny Darko saying, not a great start, but what's for dinner, Dave?
Do you know what? I don't even know what's for dinner today, to be brutally honest with you, my man. I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'll probably have a bit of vegetable soup for lunch.
Just got here. Who got the Bayern goal? Was it Gnabry? Gnabry wasn't the one. Oh, Sonny! Oh, good ball. Sasha Bowie clears it wide. I actually can't.
That was a great cross.
I'm trying to remember actually who really did score the goal for the Bayern, because it was Serge Gnabry who kind of won it off of Spence and from the Vicario pass, but I think it might have been someone else who finished it.
To be honest with you, I was that incensed. I didn't even care who scored it. Madison, can we get another decent delivery here? Let's go and attack this with a bit of purpose now. All going near post. It's good. Oh. It's cleared. Is that Stanisic again?
He's found a new baseball cap, Vincent Kompany.
He needs the baseball caps. Makes him look better.
I think he should. I think he's like, I don't know. I think he's a pretty sharp-looking guy. I just don't really understand why he's gone for the baseball cap. I think he could embrace the ball a bit
His
more.
forehead is huge.
He could definitely win a header.
Oh, no.
Matisse Tell finds Serge Gnabry.
Gnabry in behind. Archie Gray trying to close him down. He pulls it
Tell.
back. Finds Tell. It's a free shot on the edge of the box. He does one, does two.
Someone come out.
Carrio's out. Bit slack defensively here. Good to see, Killian.
Good ball from Pedro Porro. Johnson cleared out. That should be a foul, though. There it is. Yeah,
well
there
done,
it is.
ref.
Good ball from Pedro Porro again into Johnson. Earns a foul. Got her way up the pitch here.
Pedrito.
He's had a good start, Pedro Porro.
On to Dragusin. Yeah, he's done all right, Porro. Dragusin. Davies.
Oh,
Picking it up.
Davies.
Back to Dragusin.
Archie
Into
Gray.
Gray. Back to Vicario.
Put under
Tottenham
pressure there,
struggling
Gray.
to really get in beyond this Bayern press at this moment in time. It's a better ball. Well held
That's a
up.
foul as
Referee.
well. Good touch from Kulu.
Come on, ref. Give it to us at some point here. Jesus Christ. Are you blind?
Kimmich with the foul on Madison. Something to think about.
Sturdy foul on Madison.
Killian Kenny saying happy birthday to your sister, Dave.
I appreciate that. My man, her birthday was Thursday. Appreciate that, lad. Thank you very much. Pass it on to her. Davies. Back to the Big Vic. Back out to Benjamin. He goes long. In behind for Sonny. Can he keep that in?
Might have been offsides, it looks like.
Yeah, offside, I think, yeah. Oh, not a great opening 13 minutes from a Tottenham perspective. Not a great 13 minutes whatsoever. It's just that goal. It was a real sloppy goal to concede, so early on into the game. You just don't need to do that.
No.
You're
Ball
already putting
behind.
yourself on the back foot and chasing. It's almost like Ange Postecoglou told them to do
Oh.
it to give them a test.
Archie Gray gets picked. Have they given a foul for it? No, an offsides. He got away with one. I was going to mention this, but Archie Gray, he's kind of didn't do too well, I'll be honest, in the last game in the K-League 11. He just, in that number 6 position, which is where I think Ange Postecoglou eventually wants to play him. He didn't really have the most convincing of performances, and this Bayern team is a really good test for him. Vicario gives it away.
Shocking from Vicario.
Some of these players just need to settle down a bit more because, and also maybe part of it is maybe the options aren't necessarily there. Maybe players aren't moving for each other in the right areas. They're not showing in the right areas. I doubt that they're walking or anything, but maybe some of the players just aren't on the same wavelength right now, and it's making everybody else nervous.
Making everyone nervous. Like we're trying to play out from the back. We need someone to be able to come in and hold up the ball, but everyone wants to make runs in behind. I don't get it. For the first few minutes, it's about just keeping the ball, getting hold of it, and working your way into the game. And if they have to wait for another rollicking off Postecoglou on the next water break, that's concerning. It was the same last week against K-League. It was fucking a bit mundane up until the water break. Gave them the rollicking, then we went 3-0 up.
Pedro. Oh, what
That's
a touch.
better from Pedro.
Oh, he's just spraying them for fun
That's
today.
a great ball.
Pedro, he's spraying them for fun. This is gorgeous to watch. Sonny, good pass. Kulu. Great pass
good
from Kulu.
Well.
Sir!
That's a fucking free kick. He stripped Jed Spence there. Oh, my lord.
Oh, my lord, sir!
It's so obvious.
Bayern are very physical in this game. Ooh, Sasha Bowie, way.
I just don't get how he hasn't blown that. That's so obvious.
That was a foul. And they've been very physical so far, Bayern, so the referee should be picking up on that. I know it's only preseason friendly, but anytime we've gotten clear them, anytime we've gotten turned, they've just hacked us down. Madison not on the same wavelength.
Take a touch. Take a fucking touch.
Davies, Sonny. Going to be a good battle between Bowie and Sonny today.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Archie Gray, it's just, I think this is a good test for him to see what it's like coming up against top midfielders. He's going to be put under a lot of pressure as well. I know that's not always probably been the case for him when he was at Leeds, right? Usually he was the team that was dominating in possession. And Basuma, we know, is kind of the press breaker because he has that ball carrying ability where he just knows how to get turned. He knows how to lose somebody with a feint or a drop of the shoulder. So it'll be interesting for Gray. It's a real test of his skills. Good work from Porro. Porro's looked up for it. The rest of the players maybe haven't. The players they want to play well. It's just, they're a little bit confused and not on the same wavelength, whereas Porro is.
It's a severe lack of intensity in what we're trying to do as well.
There you go, Spence. But he gets played past, and it's Sasha Bowie who plays a nice pass to Kimmich. And Mueller plays Tell out wide. Tell one-on-one with Poro. Cuts inside. It's a shot straight at Vic, and it's not a great parry from Vic.
No, there's nearly Brandon Austin-esque there.
Mattel again.
Byron again.
Guerrero cleared away.
Good defending from Poro there. Could really do with waking up a little bit here, though.
Bayern Munich with the custom-designed Korean kits.
We've just been so poor in possession. It's leading to a lot of problems for us right now. And this is even in Bayern's full-strength team either. Bayern with a corner kick here. It's going to be an in-swinger. Let's see how we deal with this. Last year, very vulnerable from set pieces.
Lazy 8's not a fan of that Bayern kit.
It's a deep outswinger. Oh, who gets there in the end?
Kulusevski.
Good defending. Great defending from Kulu. It was a free header.
We got the handbrakes on, says AB15.
It's just very disjointed in possession. It's like Johnson and Son don't want the ball to... Well, actually, maybe not Son. But it's like Johnson and Madison don't want the ball to feet. Anytime it does, they're very quick to try and push it off around the corner. And it's just being broke down. Archie Gray can't get on the ball in the midfield either. You know, it's just very disjointed right now. It's weird. It's an outswinger this time from the opposite side for Bayern Munich. It's a free header. That's poor. Kim Min-jae couldn't get it on target. But it's a free header. We need to be contesting them. How's he getting free? He's the only guy you should be. He's the first guy you should be going to mark from them. Vicario.
Well done by Poro. Dragashin. Good composure there.
Composed.
Dragashin. Nicely done to Johnson. Sar. She can't seem to progress the ball from the back into that midfield whatsoever right now. Yeah, Bayern have put us under very good pressure, and like I said, they've been very physical in their press as well. They have not given us...
straight into the forward line, and we can't hold it up.
Well, I think we haven't been used to this type of physicality yet in these games. And they've done a good job of staying close to us. Oh, I believe that could have been Kimmich. Gives it away there.
Get your head up. Let's go, Sonny.
Come on, Sonny.
Come on, Sonny.
Sasha Bowie able to catch up to him.
He's for... Oh. Jeez, that fucking fullback of theirs is quick. It's poor from Sonny there. Gives away a throw into Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich back in possession. Can Kulusevski get the squeeze on Neuer? He can. But they still have an out ball here, Bayern Munich. They use it. That's better pressure there. From Archie Gray, I believe. Well done. Johnson makes the move to receive the throw. He doesn't get it. It's a stupid one into Kulusevski. Johnson, good ball around the corner to Sar.
Sar wins a corner. Yes, he does. There we are.
Come on, Spurs. He'd show a lot better than this.
So far this preseason, Spurs have gone for a lot more short corner routines.
Yeah, that or near post routines.
Yeah. It's really poor from Vic.
Good finish from the Bayern player, actually. Keep it low, make the keeper. It's another short corner. It's a poor delivery, though.
Yeah.
Come on, Spurs, wake up.
That's the frustrating thing about playing it short and then doing that, is that if you don't get a ball into the box, it's kind of like, geez. Because that's the whole point of having a corner, is that it's a free opportunity to get a ball into the box, and if you don't take it, Madison overhit.
Just overhit. How many times have we said that about him last season? Underhit, overhit. Fuck me, just get the right weight on it. It's like he's got lead in his boots.
Jeff Brown saying, "Morning, guys. This has been a painful watch. Sorry, but we just don't have enough real quality."
You don't need to apologize. You're absolutely spot on. We just look piss poor right now. Very disjointed. You know, I'd love to sit here and be a happy clapper, all tinted roses glasses, but it's just not the case right now.
Spence clears it away. Good
Well
header
on,
from
Sar.
Sar. Ah, not the right pass to Kulu by
Just over
Johnson.
hit by Johnson again.
I mean, Kulu was in behind, and it's the right idea from Johnson. It's just not executed again. Good
Typical.
pressure, though. The pressure needs to be more jointed up, though.
Yeah. Bayern again, one pass, they're just breaking straight through that midfield on our back line. We need to fucking get to grips with this. It's just one pass from the back line straight in, and they've boycotted our midfield. They need to get a grip in there big time.
Sasha
Bowley.
Bowie. Oh, top of the box to Serge
Oh,
Gnabry.
Gnabry! That took a
Dangerous.
deflection.
Looked like a good hit, and then it took a nasty deflection out for a corner, it looks like.
Oh, we need a waters break badly. We need Ange to be able to get in a position to rollick them and wake them up.
We need a water break, says Fat Tony. Yes, we do. I need a
This is
water break.
concerning.
Futures Lily White has picked up, a flat cap membership. Thank you, Futures
Really
Futures Lily White. I think you've been one before for a long time, unless I'm mistaken. So really do appreciate you renewing, and thank you for all the support for this channel. And Dave and I, we did a members only live stream just yesterday. So if you were able to, ooh,
Oh, it's a free
dangerous,
header
Thomas
again.
Mueller.
It's twice now they've had free headers. Can we break out here? Keep it in, please. Oh, holy shit, we're so far off it. We are so far bloody off it. That was shit from Kulu. Absolute shit.
Good pressure from Johnson. Good pressure from Spence.
Oh, him and
Unlucky.
Son just getting each other's way there.
Unlucky. Good foul from James Madison, to be honest. Take some sting out.
Oh, this is a hard watch. I'm not going to lie, guys. It's a very hard watch at this moment in time.
Maybe it was Vidovic who scored it for them. And I'm not even too sure where he's come from, actually, Vidovic. That was a new name on their team sheet that I don't necessarily recognize.
Bayern just toying with us at this moment in time, making it look too easy.
AB15 saying, can anyone step up? I think so far it's probably been Pedro Porro is the only one that's looked in any way kind of
On it.
on
There
it
he is
or
again.
competent.
Well done, Porro. It's just so disjointed. It's disjointed in the press, out of possession. It's disjointed in possession. You know, there's no synchronization to what we're doing. It's a worry. And when Bayern Munich get the ball, it's just one pass from the back line beyond our midfield. They're straight in on our back four in numbers, which is concerning.
Future's
Our
bright.
midfield really needs to get a grip in there. Papa Massar's been non-existent. Okay, he's won a couple of headers. You know, he's done that good breakaway. Madison has been absolutely non-existent. Archie Gray has been non-existent. Again, dispossessed in there now. Wins it back, though. Well done, kid. And then he does that. That's just... Oh, come on, Tottenham, the fuck.
Futures Bright, Futures Lily White was saying, I have been a member for a long time, but for some reason it got canceled. And I never got an answer for it. Never mind. I'm sorry to hear that. And I don't know really if I have an explanation for it, but I appreciate you even keeping the faith and getting one again. I'm sorry about that. That's really annoying.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Do apologise. Do apologise, lad.
And then
Water break. Come
water
on,
break.
Ange. Let's get the cameras in there and the microphone.
Well, he's saving the speech for later, it looks like. Maybe he's just going to let the players address themselves.
Well, I think there comes a point where they have to fucking learn to sort it out between themselves.
Yeah. Moondog with the super
Can't be
chat.
relying on it.
I changed my mind. We are not winning anything. Oh, no, Moondog. I'm sorry. Oh, Moondog. I mean, listen, this has not been a bright start. Do you really, can you read into it that deeply? I'm not sure. Then again, that we've read a lot into the previous games, and we gave this team a lot of hype and a lot of praise for the previous performances. And in this one, they're well off it. So, and it's a much better opponent. So I guess you can take some concerns from it. There's also still a lot of game to be played here. That's a sick kit that she has. That collared shirt there. That's a really cool one. But there's still so much to be played left here, Moondog.
Yeah.
So while it has not been a very convincing or in fact, probably a bit of a concerning start, there's still a lot to be played here.
What concerns me, though, is that it's the first step up in test of real quality that we've come up against. and we've been so far off it in terms of pressing and in possession. It looks so disjointed, and them concerns about how lethal we were in the first couple of games are now coming back into this game, haunting us. That's what I was used to highlight an awful lot. How easy they're getting in on our back line. Again, another concern. And the fact that this looks like majority of the team that's going to start against Leicester as well.
Yeah.
That's why I find that a bit concerning, Moondog. Of course, you have to take into account that they would have been training really hard earlier on, probably got a lot of heavy legs going on and stuff like that right now. But we still expect to see better in possession, Moondog, for sure.
Yeah, I think Dave put that very, very aptly when it comes to just finally, now that it's against better opposition, all of a sudden they do look quite rattled, and you do have to take concerns from that. Bayern building out here, though. Well done, Sonny.
Well done, Sonny.
Hold on to it.
Well done. Hold
there
him
you
off.
go.
Well done.
Archie
Brilliant.
Gray. He's got
Find
time
the
and
ball.
space here. Oh, that was
come
really
on,
poor.
Gray.
That was really poor from Archie Gray.
Last 2 games in the number 6, he's been piss poor.
Oh no, Dragashin.
They're in.
Mattel cleared away by
Good
that's Sonny.
Brilliant defending from
Sonny
Sonny.
tracking all the way back. He's not even one who lost it as well. That's actually, to be fair, that's actually what you want to see your captain doing. If your captain, he's not even one who loses it there, and he actually tracks all the way back for Archie Gray.
Yeah.
Fair play by Sonny. Good
It's great
clearance,
defending.
actually, as well. He could have easily smashed that into his own net. We've seen.
Yeah, it's easy to shank them.
We've seen Eric Dyer. We've seen plenty of people do that once or twice. Get his first shirt, absolutely balloon it into their net.
Or into the stands, one or the other, when he's in possession.
The stands will do in that situation.
Bayern Munich corner, it's an in-swinger. Guys, we will get to your chats in a minute. Do not worry about that. We'll address it. Oh, they've gone short here. Playing us at our own game, changing the angle.
Stealing our ideas. Sasha
It's a shot on
Bowie.
the edge of the box for Bowley, is it? A volley, whatever you call him. It's another ball in behind. It's a good one for carry.
Much better
better.
from Vic.
And Archie Gray shanks it.
Offside
there.
as well.
Yeah, we'll have that. Adrian Chia with the super chat, Jack, says, scares me that we will see this lineup during the season.
I think you just said that to
Not too far
Moondog, didn't you, Dave? That you're a little worried that this is pretty close to what the starting lineup would be against Leicester City. And, I mean, apart from Romero and Van de Ven, Destiny Udoji as well would be the other inclusions, but pretty much the forward line would be the same. Midfield would be the same, maybe apart from Basuma. Probably maybe is in for Archie Gray. Not too sure if Archie Gray does start actually the first games of the season. And maybe a Bergvall instead of a Madison. But that's already a concern if you want to already start Bergvall ahead of Madison this early into the season.
Yeah.
That's something that you would think you would probably start thinking about much later into the season. But for the most part, maybe apart from 3 or 4 changes in the back line, yeah, it is pretty much the same lineup that we'll see against Leicester.
I think what we're seeing right now is the areas we failed to address in the window. It's coming back to haunt us right now. I firmly believe, not getting in that, world-class DM
play.
that most people have been calling about. Maybe the lack of a proper striker or Brendan Johnson out wide doing absolutely nothing. James Maddison, here we go, though. This is better into Sonny's feet.
Lovely play
Sonny
from
onto
Spurs,
Jedi.
actually. This was gorgeous build-up from us. Much, much better. Oh, he's got to play Sonny there, Spence. It was really good build-up from Spurs, though. A lot of good one-touch passing. Dragashin into Kulu.
Get hold of it, Porro. Johnson, get onside. Make a fucking run.
Pedro
My
Porro.
Lord, I'm going to explode. I'm going to explode watching this.
Pedro Porro with a bad giveaway, but Kulusevski's still down after that pass into him from Dragashin. Took a knock from Kim Min-jae, it looks like.
No,
That wasn't a foul. It did look like a foul.
But big up Adrian Trier. Really appreciate the support. We've got more to get to. We'll get them while Kulusevski's receiving a bit of attention here. We've got Azad Hamid says, look at the difference in quality. This is what happens when we depend on little kids, then buy proven quality. Season is over already. I do understand the point you're making, but we're not relying on kids in this starting lineup, and I think we have to realise that there is every chance that the kids come in and actually show a lot more in this second half, like they've done in previous friendlies. I think to your point, though, it does highlight the difference in quality, and that that we still got more to do in this transfer window heading into this season, 100%. Where I disagree is just where it's, relying on the little kids, because it's not them that are out there performing like this right now. I think that's harsh.
And
But I agree with you on the rest.
I'd agree with Azad when it comes to the transfer policy this summer window,
Yeah.
where they have prioritized or just simply gotten the younger signings done instead of getting some of their main priority signings, like Eze, like a
Mm.
striker, like a backup to an Udogie, these type of signings that would have been my priorities ahead of this summer window. Yes, I would have liked to have seen us continue our policy of signing young and, really future starlets, but I mean, it's kind of been, sort of
Has to be
more of
balanced
that
out,
than it's
right?
been any of the priority
Yeah.
signings that we would have had. So that's where I'd agree with you, is that the transfer policy has been a bit off this summer window, where they just
Yeah.
haven't at all addressed the real issues in the
Yeah.
squad. Yes, I'm happy with buying youngsters, but we haven't actually
Mm.
addressed any of the real issues. But is it really on the youngsters, us losing this game? I don't think so. And
Mm.
in fact, I'd say some of the guys that are missing already are some of the more experienced pros. Brennan Johnson,
Mm.
Madison, and
Yeah.
others in this team are the ones that, and Ben Davies, Vicario, sadly,
He's
Vicario,
let us
someone who
down.
we really
Jed
trust,
Spence,
he's
I
let
don't
us
think has
down.
been.
Yeah,
I don't think Jed Spence has been fantastic today either.
these are experienced senior pros, so it's not
Yeah.
really the youngsters. But I'd agree with you on the transfer front.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And maybe he's getting at that, instead of signing youngsters, we need to sign maybe more proven players. And 100% as me, really appreciate the support, buddy. You're absolutely spot on there, my man. Big yourself up.
And then Moondog says Madison has turned to Winks. I saw that comment
Yeah.
from Tyler saying have Winks and Madison switch bodies. Maybe we can allow them to switch bodies when we come back to Leicester City, and then we get back to the old Madison again. And that could be a convenient game for us to just maybe ask Leicester City what's happened to James Madison.
Yeah. Look, he's clearly void of all confidence at this moment in time right now. And I'd argue, I think a lot of his decision making right now is actually way off as well. I think it's been piss poor. But I think Madison's biggest problem is, we can sit here and say we need to get space for Madison. It's not going to happen. When you operate further up the pitch, you have to operate in and around bodies. He doesn't seem to be able to do that. As soon as there's contact on him, he gives away the football. He needs to do a lot better.
And then Aaron J will saying we will see Mason, then Poch in charge next season. If you're going to go for bold predictions, a lot of people are probably starting to lean towards that one, Aaron J. But let's be honest, it's only preseason, guys. And
Yeah.
there's lots of concerns with this performance, not glossing over this performance, but this performance does not mean that the season is over
Oh,
or
yeah, it's
anything
not
like
over.
that. I
It's
think we
not
need
written off
to,
or anything.
and it's probably silly. Maybe it's only because it's 3:30 in the morning, but we do, I think, need to have slightly cooler heads here.
Mm.
I appreciate it, Aaron J, though, and believe me, I mean, we've seen it before. Conte, Jose, the Mason sub, and then and then you get a new manager. It's just something that Spurs fans already have
Mm.
too much experience with, too much kind of lived trauma about that, and I don't blame you for feeling that way, Aaron J.
I
But we
also
do need
feel
to
we're
keep cooler heads here, I think.
I also feel we're starting to make same mistakes we made in previous years. Getting on the manager's back and sacking him for the stuff the club don't do is pointless. You're just going to keep continuing this perpetual cycle. You get a manager in the door for a season or a bit more if he's lucky. The board pulled, or get your head
Kulu,
up, Kulu.
please. Oh, he's got Johnson there.
He's got to deliver that. Although Johnson probably would have done nothing with it, he's got to deliver that. Um, but Postecoglou shouldn't be another fall guy for what the club doesn't do. We have to be smarter, and whatever the club don't do has to go on the ownership, because we've done it with Conte. We thought all the problems going to walk out with him. They didn't. So we have to be a bit smarter than just go after the manager all the time. At some point, we have to go, no, we want this guy. You back him. We have to make a stand for the manager at some point.
Just a
Oh, no.
moment.
Bayern here. Out the back. Mateus Tal cuts in. He's allowed to cut in by 3 or 4 and
Ooh,
gets a shot off.
so
I mean,
dangerous.
the lack of anyone even trying to get close to him and close him down is fucking shocking. You're talking about Radu Dragic and Davies trying to fight to get into this team, and they're slacking. And I don't want to hear anyone tell me preseason. I'd have that excuse if it was Romero and Van de Ven because they're starting 11s. But when I'm chasing down a spot, I want to be at it for preseason to try and nail down that spot. The fact that everyone's just sitting off them is really concerning some of these guys, considering they're trying to chase down a spot.
Jet Spence absolutely clears out a Bayern player, probably out
Get
of
close to him.
frustration. James Madison shoved out of the way. He's got to be stronger there.
We're just
Bayern are
being
also
brutalised.
just physically Bayern, I think physically have actually pretty much outmatched us here, which is also a concern. I mean, they want it more. They seem stronger.
It looks like we've given up, to be brutally honest. That
Feels
sounds
like
harsh, but it does.
feels like they hit the weight room more than us this season, Bayern. Good play from Kimmich into our penalty area. Gnabry, nearly another one.
When there's the next break in play, guys, through the chats, do not worry about that. We're aware they're there.
I think we're trying to get through them as quickly as we
Just
can
standing
while
there
also
so
trying to
flat-footed.
respect. I think we're trying to get through them as quickly as you can while giving you guys the commentary and then
Yeah.
also giving you guys the proper response that you do deserve.
Yeah.
Shemtan saying, Moondog, I'll see you're not winning anything and I'll raise you at getting relegated this season. I think people at this point are reaching the levity point, as if you know what that word is, probably plenty of you do. But yeah, it's that dark humor stage, I think, Spurs fans, which we're all too comfortable with. When things start to turn, when things start to feel a bit ugly, we kind of lean on that kind of gallows humor at times. And I think it's starting to become that, Shemtan.
Definitely not getting relegated anyway, that's for sure. We're better than like some of the teams that'll come up and some of the teams below us, 100%, Shan. I appreciate the humour though, lad. Appreciate the humour.
And Shemtan, thank you, sir, for all the support that you showed us over the summer on TIFO and just in general on this channel, man. You're very, very kind to us.
We can't get close to any Bayern player. Anytime they get the ball, it's like they've got 10, 15 yards of space to operate in, peak their time, to peak their passes and stuff. We're not getting anywhere near to them. And it's a stark contrast to where, as soon as we get the ball, example like that, as soon as we get it into a forward air, boom, they're straight on us. Look, this guy's got 10, 15
back post, cleared away by Spence. Well done by Spence. AB1.
It's so shocking.
AB15 saying, kids might be more fearless. I want to see them. Hey, AB, that's, I think, what we were kind of trying to say to Azad is I think we were agreeing with Azad Hamid about the kid policy of the transfers, right, where we've signed probably too many youngsters, or at least signed the youngsters and still haven't signed the priorities. But when you think about the players that aren't exactly performing very well in this game, they're not the youngsters. They are actually the more experienced senior pros, and we've left a lot of our youngsters on the bench. So will we get a second half performance all of a sudden again where the youngsters in the second half end up being the cooler heads, the calmer players, and practically the better quality players? And that's been a concern this preseason. Dave and I have shown a lot of praise to the youngsters, but another person could look at that as being, isn't it a bit of concern that the youngsters or the kids have actually looked more convincing than some of the guys that we do expect to play more often in this team, which are some of these more senior pros? So
But you know what it is, though, Jack? Yeah, 100%. And it's the difference in attitude, right? I've spoke about Radu Dragusin and Davies, on the periphery of the first team. And they're just sitting back there as centre-backs, not getting any close to anybody, just allowing them to pop shots off left, right and centre, right? The youngsters are coming in. The reason why you're seeing much more from them is because they actually have a hunger and a desire to displace people into the first team, to get into this squad. Whereas we've just got some players with the attitude, I'm a backup, it's okay. I'll just take my time in preseason like everyone else. And then they would sit there and they wonder why they don't get back, why they're back up, why they don't get as much game time. Well, if you actually turned up to preseason with the correct attitude and the correct mentality, maybe you wouldn't be a backup all your life, Ben Davies.
Moondog saying even Bob the Builder can't fix this shite. Hey, Moondog, I was actually just thinking about Bob the Builder the other day. And did you ever watch Thomas the Tank Engine? I was thinking about that, actually. That's what we need. We need Thomas the Tank Engine.
Program.
We need him up front, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas.
Need some pace. Need some pace and some power. It is, definitely. And he's the guy for this rebuild, I guess, Moondog. But even you feel like he can't help this rebuild, Bob the Builder. We need Paul Connor on the rebuild, Moondog. If you've been checking in on his progress, he's been doing lots to... to do his own rebuild, Paul Connor. We need Bob the Builder and Paul Connor.
Oh.
And then Shawnee Maddox, member for 11 months, fan show member. Really appreciate you, Shawnee. Just a moment.
Swinger cleared. Oh, that's poor. Johnson with a poor header straight back to them there. Bowie picks it back up.
We'll get to this in just a second, Sean. Shawnee
Please.
Maddox saying everyone needs to chill. Yes, we still need to strengthen the squad, but there's 1 month left in the window. The season isn't over. That's I feel similar, Sean. Season is not over after just this game, and I do think there needs to be slightly some. I understand though it's middle of the evening or late in the evening or middle of the morning for people, and people just don't want to watch this. They don't want to see.
Oh,
Oh, it's a good
no.
chance missed by Tell, but. I can see why Spurs fans are very frustrated by this, Shawnee, but I'm also in a similar boat to you where I do think we need to, probably after we dust ourselves down after this game,
Mm.
start to think that there is still time left in the window. Surely Spurs will get some priority signings through the door. Doesn't look like they'll get all of them through the door, which is really frustrating because that just, again, leaves Postecoglou in a weak position to actually get, the real convincing season that he would like to have. But also the players and everything, they do look a bit all over the shop, but I do think this is kind of what preseason is for. It is also what preseason's for.
Do you know what? I get it, right? But we can't keep dismissing everything off as preseason. These are 2 games into their preseason, and they haven't played anybody of note. We're 4 games into our preseason, two weeks out, and they are absolutely murdering us out here on this football pitch, and that should be a concern to many people. I get it. The season ain't over, right? Let's not write the season off before it begins. Likelihood they've probably done a bit of training earlier on. Postecoglou ran the legs off him. He alluded to it in his pre-match or in his post-match press conference after the K-League. It was similar, and he done that because he wanted to see how the team pursue when they're tired. So there could be that element to this. However, us in possession, concerning. Us out of possession, concerning. The fact that we haven't addressed any issues in the transfer window as of note should be a concern. 1 month left. I get that there's still time, and we probably will do some sort of business. But the less time, the less chance it gives you to actually fulfill your issues. Like if we go for a striker now, just a week out from the season, what club worth their sort is going to sell us their striker unless they have a replacement in the door? And you're leaving that club, which I don't think many fans actually take into consideration, which is a knock-on effect. They won't sell until they get their striker in the door to replace that guy. And you're leaving them very little time to do that, Sonny.
Sonny, heavy touch.
Oh, his touch has been way off. So I do get it, but I'm getting concerned. I'm being brutally honest. I'm getting concerned. I said all summer long, if we don't fix the issues, you're going to throw Postecoglou under the bus.
Yeah. Thank you for 11 months of support as well as a fan show member, Shawnee. Nearly at a year. You've been with us much longer than that, and we do appreciate you, sir. And would love to see you on the next fan show to give us your thoughts about
Come
the
on
rest of
Monday
the
and calm me
window.
down.
Yeah, give Dave Paul. I think it was Paulie Connor was saying Dave needs his veggie soup. I think Sean will probably serve up his own veggie soup for Dave because we got Sean the chef in the house. He's an excellent chef. Serge Gnabry though out wide, another chance for Bayern.
They're just opening us up at will at this point.
Yeah.
Open us up at will.
And then Belgian Hotspur saying if I'm playing. We should let us know if you want us to call you Joris, because I know you have that parentheses there, the Belgian Hotspur. But he's saying if I'm a player, I'm terrified for halftime rollicking.
Yeah, I would be. But look, this is concerning. How many times did Ange have to do it last season? He done it a load last season. He done it against the K-League 11. Why do they have to wait for this rollicking off Ange? Like again, me and Jack spoke about it last season. Where's the leadership on the pitch for someone to stop and go, hang on a minute, guys. Let's recompose ourselves. Let's regather ourselves and fucking go back out there, reorganize ourselves. But there's no one out on the pitch that does that. And that's why we just sit back, getting ourselves absolutely railed time after time again, because the leadership right now is not on there organizing people. Madison, where are you? Son, where are you to a degree? Start talking to people. Start lifting their heads a little.
Sorry, everybody. I think the clock has been a few minutes off this whole time. That's actually my fault.
It's minor. It's preseason. We can have that excuse. Tottenham can't, but we can.
We're all over the shop, Dave.
We'll get it right for preseason, not for the season. That's the thing. Archie Gray, he's pulled out of that one. He has been actually take
BMs. He's saying, is it just me or has Archie been horrendous? I think that's what he said. Let me catch up to it.
Yeah, he's been absolutely. Look, I'm not getting on the kid. He's going to be a quality player, but today he has looked a bit out of his depth. I'm not going to lie.
He's just looked nervous to me, BM, because there's been moments where he's actually had an opportunity to make something happen, and then he just looks a bit rattled. He just looks a bit nervous. Because there's that one moment where he had so much time and space on the ball, took him a while to even realize that, and then once he did, he just fired a pass to someone that just was completely poorly executed and just not done in the right sort of way. And that's not really what we'd say with Archie Gray, at least so far this preseason, or what people would normally say about him. I think because he's a young kid and he's only played against so many, decent oppositions in his life. I wonder if this Bayern team have kind of intimidated him.
There we go, halftime.
But BM, appreciate your support, and also thanks for supporting us as well. As I think you're in the chat lots of times, and it looks like as well. At least I'm not sure if you are in Korea at this moment, or maybe you're somewhere else in the world. But we do appreciate you as well as a Korean Spurs fan and supporting the Irish Hotspur. Thank you so much. And I wonder what you think. I will say a lot of the Korean fans, by the way, everybody, they got some cool gear. They're not buying the recent gear that Levy and the club have been producing. They have a lot of cool retro kits, a lot of these Korean fans. I think Dave needs to head on out there and see what's available, because it seems like they got some good retro gear out there.
Yeah.
And then
No, they do have some nice tops.
And then Shane says, your midfield is so bad. Gray is not the answer. Listen, I think with Gray, he's not performing well whatsoever at this moment in time, but it is only just this one game, and I think this is a position that eventually he will come to really take his own, and he's supposed to be a midfielder. This is a position that he rates himself in. I think this is what Spurs eventually see him playing. He's very defensively strong normally. I just think this has been a big wake-up call for him and a litmus test for him. It's been a litmus test for a lot of these players, and it's definitely been one for Archie Gray. I don't think Gray is the problem, though, and I see what you mean. He's not played well at all in this game, and the midfield is probably one of the bigger concerns in this match, too, because the midfield, it's sometimes just taken one pass from Bayern, and the entire midfield has just been completely parted and completely torn apart by just one pass. But is that on Gray? I'd say so. He's more of a number 6. Madison, in my opinion, doesn't work hard enough out of possession defensively, and Pat Matasar is only one guy on his own, and I do agree with you that the midfield has definitely been all over the shop.
I think we've been outclassed all half, to be brutally honest, all over the pitch. I'll get on to the midfield in just 1 second, Shane, but when you look at our intensity of the press, it's non-existent really. As soon as we look to progress the ball out from the back, Brian are right up our holes, putting pressure on us, not giving us time to get the ball even under control. It's a stark difference. And then in possession, every man they have on the ball has 10, 15 yards of space to work in. This can't keep continuing to happen. Onto the midfield. The midfield has been absolutely non-existent. Madison, again, another no-show, non-existent, nothing in possession, won't work out of possession. Papa Matasar, he's battled away a couple of times in there, but again, I'm used to seeing a lot more from him. And Archie Gray in possession and out of possession is absolutely killing us. When you have Basuma in there, one thing Basuma does do is he takes that ball off the back line and he helps us get up the pitch a little. Right now, we can't get Gray onto the ball. And all we're trying to do is pump it into the forwards line, out to Son, out to Johnson, looking for them to hold it up. That's not their game. And then out of possession, Archie Gray can't even get close to anybody in and around off the edge of the box. And look, I do want to be conscious. Let's not put this all on Gray. He's only an 18-year-old kid. This should be more on the likes of Madison, who's supposed to be the leader of that midfield. He was appointed leadership group of that midfield. Sonny out there, club captain. There's no leadership on the pitch to get people reorganised, to issue them instructions to Archie Gray to help him along in these games. These games is where you need these youngsters. You need to be feeding them little bits of information for them to take it on board and get to grips with the game. No one seems to be doing that. In fact, the leadership group have just left them out there just to be absolutely railroaded, which I do not like. I actually think it's weak. But this isn't just on Archie Gray, by the way. This is a whole 11. Yeah. We've been non-existent. We've been outclassed. We've been outplayed. We've been outfought. It's been non-existent. Actually been atrocious and should be a concern because then we've Leicester in 2 weeks' time. And if that's the shit we're going to put on offer, I'm worried.
Yes. Everybody that's joining us at halftime, if you can for us, can you please smash the like button? It takes a lot of work to not only get up at this time in the morning to put together these watch-alongs, but also a lot of bells and whistles that go in to try to put up what we have on screen and that type of thing. So if you can for us, smashing the like button would go a very long way. And also as well, if you would like to get in your comments, feel free to do so. We're going to try to get through them as best we can, as we have done while trying to do the commentary on the game as best as that we can. But we really do appreciate you guys. Nearly, I think, 800 in the house at this point. So really do appreciate you guys for picking us as your watch-along destination. This is not a good performance. This has been very concerning, and there are definitely plenty of different takes, plenty of different opinions that I think are totally acceptable when it comes to this type of performance and also some of these warning signs. But really do appreciate you guys picking us as your destination. Stevie Frazier just loved this comment saying we should probably bring on the K-pop ladies again. They've been more entertaining. I agree with that. Camago, from earlier, big up to you. Really appreciate you. You say, can see the huge gap in midfield and the pressing has been really poor. Is the midfield for you, Dave, kind of the biggest issue? It's been the whole team. A lot of players are really underperforming. But is the midfield kind of where probably the biggest concerns lie? I mean, they have been absolutely opened up continuously. It's been pretty non-existent. And then also he's saying that the press has been really lacking.
You look, I think the majority of it stems from the midfield. They're being absolutely non-existent. You're looking for them to get in there, make it tight in the midfield for Bayern to, play through, plug the gaps. A bit like what Bayern Munich are doing to us, but we're not doing it. Why? Because James Maddison is a prima donna. I'm going to say it. He thinks he's too good to do defensive work, that he doesn't have to do it. And in possession, he thinks his ability is going to carry him. He's doing absolutely nothing. He's offering us nothing in there. Anytime the ball's come into him and he's under pressure, he's flicking it around the corner, moaning at the referee to blow in the whistle and crying, rolling around on the fucking ground. At some point, you've got to show a bit of grit. Back into your man, hold that ball up and play others into play, because you're not doing us any favours whatsoever. You're that guy that we look to feed the ball to be able to feed the forward line. When we can't do that and you're not offering us that, you're non-existent. Papa Matasar, non-existent. Archie Gray, non-existent. Every time that Bayern get the back line and the ball in the back line, all they're doing is punting it into midfield, and you're looking at it going, okay, where's our midfielders? Because as soon as we try that, they're on us. They're straight on us. We don't even have a second to get it under touch. So it is a huge problem. It's wide open. How many times in that half? We can go back and watch it, after. But in that half, amount of times, one ball, bypass our midfield, 4 or 5 of their players are running at our back line. That's not sustainable. Yes, a bit of it is tactics, but some of it is also down to hard work and desire and hunger, to be brutally honest.
Yeah. And we have a super chat from Tin Man. Really appreciate you, Tin Man. Thanks for joining us this evening or morning. I guess that's where you are probably. I think you've also gotten up in the morning like Dave has to watch this. And Tin Man 007 saying, guys, look, looks like Ange hasn't learnt from last season. If we continue to play this system, then we will have a shocking season, and the circus will continue with Levy in control as well. Dave, this preseason, some people have had question marks about the chances that we're still conceding to the opposition. We've conceded at this point, I think, 7 goals in total so far this preseason, which isn't really something that we should be very proud of. I mean, what do you make of it? I should stop the clock as well. Sorry about that, everybody. We're definitely not continuing on. Luckily, the first half is over, finally. We can't go on into the second half. But with Tin Man 007, Dave, I mean, Ange, as much as the players have a lot to reconcile, as much as the players have a lot to answer for, is this a game, is this a performance where Ange has some things to answer for? Or are you concerned about the tactics, basically, that Tin Man 007 is alluding to?
No, I get it, but for me, look, there is things Ange Postecoglou can do, right? It used to be the rule that whatever fullback goes, the other one sort of sits in and makes a three at the back, it gives you that bit of solidarity. Or you could be asking the number 6 to maybe sit in there and do a little bit more. There are ways around it with tactics that Ange Postecoglou can shore us up a little bit. But being brutally honest, this is what I'm concerned about, that Ange is going to get called out for these minor things, right? But let's not pretend, at the end of last season, let's not pretend he didn't ask the club for a central defensive midfielder, that he hasn't asked the club for a striker, he hasn't asked the club for players in other positions. It's not his fault that the club haven't delivered them. It really isn't. And I think we have to be a bit fair on this. Yes, we can just go after Ange Postecoglou. Okay, if you think he's naive and he's not good enough to be at Tottenham Hotspur. But I guarantee you the same fans went after Conte, who's won everywhere he's been. Jose Mourinho, who's won everywhere he's been. So when do we stop this and actually go, hang on a minute? What we're seeing right now is a result of the business we haven't done. We all knew coming into this season that CDM was going to have to be shored up to a large degree. We all knew we needed a striker coming in here because we needed to be a lot more proficient, in front of goals. But we haven't done it. So why is Ange Postecoglou getting the blame for that? He's trying to make it work. He's putting players in these positions. He's trying to make it work. And to a large degree, this preseason, he has. I get it. The amount of times we get hit on the counter is concerning. I fully agree with Tim Man on that. But that's the trade-off you make when you switch from defensive football to on the front foot attacking football, which is what most fans wanted. Let's be real about it. It's what most fans wanted at this football club. Once we were sick of the likes of Nuno, Conte and Jose and all these defensive guys. That's the trade-off you make. Granted, we shouldn't be so open, and that is something that whether Ange Postecoglou gets the players, if he doesn't, he's going to have to come up with something to navigate that. He can't stand there basically and go, right, the window's closed, I'm still going to make my point, because all that'll do is get him sacked by Christmas. If we don't get the players in to be able to help with these solutions, he's going to have to try and find a solution tactically just to get into January at least. But I would say rather than go at Ange, this is a warning shot to the board.
Yeah. For me, Tim, man, I just think with Ange Postecoglou, he's last season already had some question marks, I think, when it came to just the amount of chances, the amount of goals that we were conceding. But I would agree that he hasn't exactly been given everything that he needs this summer window to really then be judged that type of way. I think we can only start really judging him that harshly. Harshly is probably a strong word to use, but we can only start really judging him in a proper manner, in my opinion, once he is given some of these signings, some of these priority signings that will actually, allow him to play the system in the best possible way he can. And then once he has all the tools available to him, we are definitely, I think, entitled to judge him with much, much more scrutiny. And when it comes to Daniel Levy, we are going through a very Daniel Levy summer at the moment where Spurs fans are starting to tear each other apart. They're getting very restless about the transfer window. It doesn't feel like the manager is being properly backed or being given all of the choices and all of the resources that he needs in order to be successful. Lots of things that, let's be honest, in the 3 or 4 years I've been on this channel, I've had to say plenty of times, and Dave has had to say plenty of times, kind of exhaustingly so. And it is that classic circus that you're alluding to that can lead to very dangerous and very unfortunate seasons. But we still have a month left of the window. We still get those priority signings in? Maybe we can get some of them. I'm not convinced we're going to get all of them. And that also leads to that other question of another summer window where Daniel Levy and the manager aren't on the same page or haven't necessarily helped each other out too much. They're not giving, the manager all the proper resources that they need. And then it also leads to, that kind of divide and that division between the manager and the owner, which is just something we just don't need to see anymore. We've definitely grown a bit tired of it, but really appreciate you, Tim Man 007. And thanks for picking us. Thanks for coming to us at halftime. Thanks for picking us as your destination, my man. You've been very good to us over the years. Paul Markey saying the young lads are holding back in awe of this Bayern team. Need a good kick in the ass. We are heading to becoming a mid-table team. I mean, do you think, though, that the young lads have even been played very much, Paul Markey? I think Archie Gray is someone who sadly hasn't performed in this game. He's looked a bit intimidated. He's looked like a deer in the headlights, unfortunately. But the rest of the team, there aren't really actually that many youngsters out there when you think about it, Paul.
Again, I think we're entering a circle where we're starting to maybe dig these young lads out for what? All they're here. And in fact, without them this preseason, we would be having a lot more discussions about how bad we've been. Without some of these guys, they've been a highlight. And I get that there's a lot going on with the club right now, 100%. But, there are certain things that we can give praise to. And these young lads have been absolutely brilliant. This isn't on the young lads, what we've seen in the first 45 minutes here. That's on senior professionals. And in fact, I feel like they've thrown some of the likes of some of the young lads, Archie Gray, under the bus for not actually helping the kid along, to a certain degree. So, look, in fact, the youngsters might actually come out and do better in this second half if they get on the pitch. Let's wait and see.
I mean, it's a lot to ask the youngsters to come on again, Paul Markey, to try to save us. But I don't know. I might push slightly against you here. I don't think there are actually that many youngsters out on the pitch that I can really think of. You look from Vicario, who made a mistake and has looked very rattled. Pedro Porro's not a youngster. Dragoshin is young, but he was a senior pro. He's played a lot of minutes. Ben Davies in the team. Jet Spence. Archie Gray is the only one I can think of really in that midfield. Sarr was a regular last season. Madison is a regular. Johnson had so many minutes last season. Kulusevski's a regular. Sonny's a regular. It's actually the youngsters, in my opinion, aren't necessarily out there. If we were to throw the youngsters on now, how will they fare? I guess we'd find out, but I don't really think that they're actually the ones that are technically out there letting us down at this moment. I think it's more the senior pros that have been letting us down in this game. AB15, appreciate your support today, AB15. I really do. And thanks for even joining us. Thanks for picking us as your destination, my friend. And he says the problem is just confidence in my, or I'm assuming the gender, apologies. The problem is just confidence in my opinion. Once we figure out that we'll be good, these tactics work when they're played with conviction. I mean, you seem to be nodding your head to that, Dave.
No, I do agree. I think the tactics work to a large degree. I've maintained all last season, when you don't have a potent attack and you allow teams to hang in games, or you don't take your chances or create, in some games, in our case last season, you're always going to leave yourself vulnerable for other teams to be able to get results. If we buy better players and we stop relying on the likes of Werner Johnson and, a makeshift striker to be able to, get us over the line, these tactics would be played with a lot more effectiveness. When Ange had the right players at Celtic for him, played with great effectiveness. At Barcelona is what people call it out in Australia. Great effectiveness. Australian national team, to a large degree, done very well. It's about giving the guy the players, We can sit here and ask the manager to be Harry Potter and pull out his wand and be a magician. But at some point, he needs help with extra players. But I do agree with you. Buy the right players for this system to help elevate it. You will stop teams going on the counter, because if we spent a lot of last season in opposition's final third, which is a stark contrast to when we had Jose, Nuno and Conte here, where we were camped on the edge of our own box for large games. But in the final third, we often were clueless to a large degree, or wasteful. We got into great positions, but then wasted them because we've got bang average players. I've been maintaining it all summer long. Put the right forwards in this team. You're going to see us progress up the table.
And as well, we have something from Jerome. Just a second, Jerome. Just had to refresh the stream on Spurs Play to make sure I wasn't going to miss anything. And Jerome saying, hard work from Ben Davies. That midfield is non-existent. I know it is preseason, but my word, it is horrible. We need reinforcement, and Solanke is just not the solution. Need lots of reinforcements, and even the one that we've been given some type of hope on has been Solanke, and the fan base is certainly not behind that one, Jerome. And with Ben Davies, I think that's just still a sign of the fact that Spurs just to this day just aren't really that ruthless about the guys that actually can really help out a manager. I just don't really see why Ben Davies has survived the outgoings that maybe other players have, been a victim of. You look at Højbjerg, Emerson, plenty of those guys who a lot of people felt like in the fan base just aren't good enough, eventually had to be moved on because of this system. And guys like Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, they just always stuck around. They always stood around. And it's just one of those things that just continues to this day to really elude me, and just doesn't make much sense to me. But Dave, I mean, Jerome, he's concerned. He feels like the reinforcements are needed. And that's obviously this is one of those, I think people already were well aware of that, but this has probably been made very, very obvious to the whole fan base today that the reinforcements could not come sooner.
100%, and that's what I take away from that first half completely. That reinforcements, in order to improve that first 11, has to happen. If you don't, then we are relying on the youngsters to come in and improve it. So let's wait and see what happens. But Jerome, you're absolutely spot on. That's my big takeaway from that first half. Issues that haven't been addressed coming back to haunt us, my man.
And Jerome as well, would love to...
By the way, great to see you.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. I was going to say, Jerome, it's good to see you again. I think last time, we saw you in the chat, I want to say I hope you've been having a good summer. I hope the family's okay. I know you have some youngins as well, in the house, so hopefully they're doing all right this summer, enjoying... well, I guess for you it's the winter, so maybe you guys are staying warm, as best you can. But big up to you, Jerome. And just want to say, man, we miss you. We'd love to see you back on a fan show. If you ever want to do a pre-record with Dave or I, or come on for some type of show, panel show, we would love to have you. You've been very good to us over the years, and you're somebody that Dave and I really do respect when it comes to your opinion on a lot of things. So big up to you, Jerome. And like I said, hope you're having a good summer. I've really, forgot you down under, so hopefully the winter's been treating you okay, my man. Paul Markey saying, can't understand Tinkerbell Johnson still featuring in the squad. He's too timid and gentle and passive and useless. I don't want to go too harsh on Johnson today, but Dave and I, we are not big fans of his in this team. We want to be proven wrong on him, Paul Markey, but with him, for me, it's just a quality issue. I do question his first touch. I question his decision making. I question his ability to actually execute some basic things like a cross or even just getting your first touch under control as a winger. It's just he's not really been, my favorite player, I'll be honest, in this team. That being said, though, I'll be very honest, and I've been very harsh on him in the past, both last season and probably during this preseason. But he's definitely someone that just frustrates me, and there are a lot of Spurs fans that feel quite similar, that he can be a very frustrating player, and there are a lot of Spurs fans that have a lot of time and patience for him. This is a real season, though, for him. I think regardless of whether you feel about Johnson, he does have to get pretty much the same numbers that he did last season and then do even better than last season. I think to silence some of the critics and also to probably validate some of his supporters. That this is still a season for him where he has to improve on last season, show that he has improved as a player, but then also in terms of his output, he needs to improve as well. And we keep using that term litmus test, but it is a real kind of finding out season for Johnson is maybe the right term. We're going to find out what he's truly made of, I think, this season. Jet Spence, though, just a second here, everybody. Sonny.
Go on, Sonny.
Sonny.
Get one off.
Oh, it's blocked, but...
Can
he get Kulu?
Oh! Just gone wide. Unlucky from Kulu. Great effort by Kulu. That's much better. But back to Paul Markey just quickly, my man. Look, I fear this is one that could come back to haunt hands, further down the line if he persists with Brennan Johnson. It's like, what is he seeing that we're not? Because the performance is nowhere near the level they should be. And I'm not sure why he keeps persisting with him. It's a huge concern of mine and one that actually may very well come back to haunt him. I think he should show him the same treatment he's shown Madison to a large degree. If you're not performing, take a seat on the bench, son.
Yeah, that's fair. He does seem to treat Johnson slightly different to James Madison, Paul Markey.
Just quickly as well, Jackal, before we move on, I know we've got 2 more chats to get to. There has been 3 subs made. Bergval has come in for Madison. Great to see that. Basuma's come in for Gray, and Emerson has come in for Dragusin.
And also want to say, everybody, thank you for all the support that you guys have shown us. I think there have been consistently close to 700 people in the house when watching us, so we really do appreciate it. If you can first, smash the like button. And also apologies if we're not getting to these sooner enough. As we do, we try to give you guys real analysis. We try to give you guys our honest opinion about it, whether we agree or disagree. We try to be respectful about it as well. I just have to say, Basuma's had a shocking start here. He gave away the possession earlier, and he actually couldn't even get his first touch under control. But everybody's all over the map today. But Paul, really appreciate you, man. Just like Jerome, somebody whose opinion we really respect here, even when we agree or disagree. And thank you for so much for supporting us in the way that you do. Paul Connor, my take from this half is that we didn't concede from a set piece. Was close, but we dealt with them. Bayern press was immense, but our whole midfield went missing that half. They all gave the ball away for fun, and they've continued that into the second half here, Paul Connor, which is a concern. I think Basuma is not really started the way that I'd like to see him start, considering that Gray didn't exactly have a great first half. Basuma hasn't really started much better than what Gray did. But Paul, I'd agree that the midfield seems to be the big kind of highlight of concern, not only because we haven't had reinforcements for this game, but a lot of people are having question marks about the midfield after that first half, and that definitely was one of the major issues.
Well, look, clearly Ange thought so as well. The fact that he's made 2 changes in there, he's clearly thought the same as well. So let's see if they can get on any better in this half. But Paul, good to see you, my man. Really do appreciate the support. Although, what I will add just quickly, although we didn't concede from a set piece, they did have a couple of chances from set pieces, which is concerning to me. Kim Min-jae getting a free header earlier on in the first half from a set piece. I mean, that's just bread and butter. He should be the first one picked up. You know the danger, man. He should be the first one marked. Yeah. So we didn't concede, but they're still getting their chances, which is concerning because for me, it's just about going and competing. You compete, you put them off. We're not competing.
And earlier, Jacob Bannister saying we should be in America actually testing ourselves. Are you referring to kind of those games between, Arsenal and Chelsea, that type of thing? I wouldn't blame you for feeling that way because they do get to come up against more, I think better opponents when you do those kind of tournaments out there because the Premier League teams are really well liked over there in the USA, and then you often do get kind of a mix of Man United, Chelsea, a lot of big clubs do end up going over there, and that could have been maybe more beneficial to us. Then again, those teams have also really struggled in those respective preseason games over there. I've seen Man United already have some embarrassing moments. Chelsea have had some embarrassing moments. Man City are losing their games over in the USA. Is that better preparation? I guess we'll find out, Jacob. I guess we'll find out if it's better. I would love to have seen Spurs in the USA just from a selfish point of view. But technically, yes, it would be nice to maybe have come up against more Bayern level type teams over this summer. That's a fair point.
I do understand what he's saying, but a lot of preseason tours have always been what's commercially best for the football club.
Yeah.
A lot of them teams that are over there have American owners, so it makes sense for them commercially to be over there.
That's right.
Let's not rule that aspect out. We're in Korea right now because commercially it makes sense for us to be out there. I just wish we could get more teams like Bayern out there and get up a proper tournament up and running. But commercially, that's why they're out there, and that's why we're in Korea. I think that's one thing that actually gets overlooked on preseason. Many people think now it's just the friendlies and stuff like that. It's not. They don't go anywhere unless it commercially makes sense.
And they already played him behind here, and I think it's their Spanish winger, who I think came from Granada. I think he had a really good season at Granada, unless I'm mistaken. And he's I forget his name now, but he had a very good season there, and he was a recent signing of theirs from last season.
And then just before we get back into the game, guys, James Micken as well with a flat cap membership. Really appreciate that, Jamesy boy. Like we said, there's going to be a lot coming up for members over the next few weeks. Guys, every single one of you, really appreciate your support today and helping us get through that traumatic 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, definitely. And we tried to get through it. Like I said, we try to get to your chats as quickly as we can, but also we want to take our time and give it a proper response, give it proper analysis, proper debate, that type of thing. And so hopefully you guys can understand, sometimes the time in which it takes for us to get to each of them. So really do appreciate you guys. And once again, thanks for even picking us as your destination. It does mean a lot to us. And James, thanks for becoming a member. There's plenty more benefits that you're going to get by being a member this upcoming season. Dave and I are going to work very hard, try to work hard in the previous years, but believe it or not, we're actually going to double down and go even harder this season. So we really do appreciate it, James, and I think you'll really enjoy some of the perks of being a member.
And also, I just want to say, don't ever be afraid to get back in the chat with a response if you disagree or whatever else. We will look out for it and bring it up on that. So don't be afraid to ever do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who watch us regularly, we are no problem with people disagreeing with us. We have no problem with people having a difference of opinion. Really, the only thing we ask is as long as it does stay relatively respectful. But for the most part, I think we enjoy actually disagreement, and we enjoy having a different share of opinions on this channel.
And that's the thing.
We have a good community for that. We usually have a very good community for having different opinions over here.
Debate all you want, as long as it's on football opinions, fine. The minute it gets personal is when, for me, it gets bang out of order. And, that's one thing we want to just, everyone can have their opinion. It's football. Everyone sees life and football through different lenses, through different eyes. But we're human beings, so let's have that basic level of respect for each other at the end of the day. Regardless of opinion.
But yeah, it's something I think we do really, it's not even us actually, it's more you guys do really well over here. I think we have a special community when it comes to that, when it comes to having difference of opinions and just sharing them without it getting too crazy or personal or anything. We really appreciate you guys. You guys are all role models in this community.
Dyer's on, so hopefully there's a floodload of goals coming our way.
Here's our chance, everyone. Eric Dyer's on.
Bergval.
Bayern have finally given us an opportunity.
Basuma's getting dispossessed there. Emerson goes to ground, gets played around. Ben Davies. Just don't worry about the runner. He's offside.
Oh, no. Jet Spence.
Well done, Vicario. Oh, it's too easy. How many defenders are standing there allowing that rebound to fucking happen, by the way? Jesus Christ. Leon Goretzka, is it?
Yeah, Leon Goretzka scored.
Never scores.
Ben Davies, I didn't really like the way he was tracking back there, to be honest, but I think Jet Spence didn't do very well there. Because Jed Spence, he kind of doesn't even, he tracks back, but he's not even really aware of the run.
Yeah, he lost the runner. He lost the runner. And then the rebound. Vicario's already made the save to bail out the back line. And then they're all just standing there looking at him, tapping it home. I'll tell you, I hope that fight changes when it comes to Leicester.
Davies does actually a good job keeping him offside.
He does a good job holding
Spence
up,
is actually the one. It's really Spence. That's really on Spence there. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just completely lost the runner.
And he's caught ball watching.
Yeah. And
he's just caught ball watching.
It's also not great saves from Vicario once again.
Wayne Bonner has gifted out 1 Irish Hotspur membership to Charles Ingram. Fair play to Wayno and Charles. Make sure you say thank you to Wayno on that. That's just poor from Tottenham. 2-0 down now. It's very poor. Jed Spence called ball watching. In fact, I actually think Davies done all right to try and slow the attack down there. Jed Spence non-reactive. Basuma breaking away here, though. Finds Sonny. Sonny puts it across. Just drives it straight down the goalkeeper's throat, really. It was like, I think he was caught in two minds to shoot or cross, and really he done neither. Basuma, that's a better ball forward, though. It's a good shoulder on Eric Dyer there. Who laid that one on him? Take your time, Porro. Oh.
Especially straight away as well. 2-0 down. Just one. Just not been Spurs' day, and it's been a day of big concerns. I mean, these players have had a huge wake-up call. And Ange Postecoglou to a degree. But also a lot of it does have to do with, I think, everyone's had a wake-up call. You would think also the ownership, Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy, who's in the stands
talking
right
about
now.
Winning trophies, and off this performance, they're fucking way off it.
Exactly. And Daniel Levy's probably having a huge wake-up call if he can even have a wake-up. Oh, nearly for Porro. Well done, Emerson. Well done, Emerson.
Well done. That's better. I don't know why you need to do that little flick there, but anyway.
Top of the box. Fair ball.
Come on, kid.
Oh,
you got to hit that first time.
Kulu.
Go on, Kulu. Oh.
Johnson's been limping for the past 15 minutes. I don't know why he's stayed on the pitch.
Get him off. Should have been off an hour ago.
If he's hurt, then Ange needs to take him off. I don't see the point of keeping him on. It's also only preseason. No point in keeping him on. And also with Johnson, like if he's really hurt, then I don't know. It's not his job to motion to the bench to take himself off, but I think Ange Postecoglou needs to see that. Or the fitness staff or whoever is responsible in that department. They need to notice this because he has been jogging and has been limping a lot since he took a really hard tackle, to be fair to him. It was definitely a foul, and he's kind of just been the worse for wear since then. And if he is going to limp around and walk around, like, we have to take him off.
He's just looked disinterested all game anyway. Come on, Spurs. You get some bloody pressure on the ball. Oh. Hella frustrating.
I'm going to get a glass of water, Dave, if that's okay.
Yeah, work away.
Jacob Bannister, though, Dave, just asking, are you guys concerned going into next season? It's not an easy one for me to pass off to you, but Jacob, very honest question.
Look, Jacob, I've made it no secret all summer long. You know, there's the improvements that have to happen. You know, Ange Postecoglou's took us so far. Now it's up. When the second we're in behind, Papa Matsar, he can't finish. Oh, he can't finish. He's in behind one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It's poor, really, from Pappy. He's got to finish there. But, Jason, look, I've been saying all summer, you know, Postecoglou has took us so far. Now it's time for the board to turn up and not pull the reins on him. Feels like right now they've pulled the reins on him to a large degree. And I'll be honest, off what we're seeing here, I'm concerned because the same issues are still there. Still getting caught very easy on the counter. You know, and going forward, we still look lackluster and void of creativity. You know, them the concerns are still there. And what's even worse for me today is the lack of energy or the lack of effort, not turning up for this. I find that a bit unforgivable, to be brutally honest. Yes, we can sit here and say it's only pre-season, but like I said, there has to come a point at pre-season where you start learning from it. And these two games, I've no doubt that these will be used for Postecoglou to really learn things from and take from and stuff like that. But I am concerned right now as it stands. We still got time to fix the issues. Are we going to do it? Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, Jason. But right now, as it stands, I think it should be a concern, yes. Because, okay, we might get off to a good start, whatever else, but somewhere along the line, not fixing the issues are going to come back to haunt you. Bayern Munich just knocking about here for fun. What annoys me is the lack of intensity, lack of pressure on the ball. We can sit here and say it's only pre-season, but Bayern Munich are doing it. They're only 3 games into their preseason. I think this is our 5th or 6th right now. So if they're doing it, why can't we do it? And the reason why they're doing it is because you start to mean as you go on. They're a club used to winning trophies. It's in their DNA to do things right from the beginning. But that Tottenham Hotspur seems to be like, it's all right, it's only preseason. We'll turn up when the season matters. Contributes to why we don't fucking win fuck all. It is a concern, Jason. And I know some people out there are going to say, Dave, it's harsh, calm down. It's only preseason. I get it. But there's concerns. I can't lie, and I've stressed them all the way throughout preseason. I've been consistent with it. Vicario. Looks like Donnelly and Skip are on the sideline getting ready to come on. She's going to bring on one player in Donnelly to try and improve it, and one that's going to make it hell of a worse. He couldn't even get going against K-League 11 in all his Skip. It'd be nice if we could start stringing 3 or 4 passes together as well. That'd be brilliant. Michael W. says, Dave, don't you think the tough training conditions and this being the second game this week? Oh, no, 100% it'll have a certain impact for sure. But I still don't forgive the fact that we can't string 3-4 passes together. Even when your bollock's tired, you should be able to string passes together. Because when they are tired and they're winning games, they're well able to do it. So when they don't want to chase the ball, so there's no excuses for them not to do it in this game.
Potmatsar, Basuma, Emerson. Nicely done by Emerson.
There we go, Basuma. Let's go.
Basuma finds his space in midfield here. Cut inside, man. Find Bergvall. There you go, Basuma. It's just he's moving too slow there, Basuma. He's moving way too slow. Took forever for him to even find Bergvall. Bergvall was waiting for it in the box. It took him forever.
Yeah, it took him forever. Poor decision making. I think Goretzka his next move needs to be Turkey to get his hair done.
Yeah, I was going to say Goretzka just needs to let it all go, or he needs to get on the hymns.
Skip, Donnelly, and it looks like Alfie Devine are coming on here. Ben Davies is off. It looks like Skip will go into centre back. Get ready for 3 and 4. Why is the cameraman following Skip? He's not even going to be here. Can we see what the rest of the subs are, please? Spence coming off. Looks like Donnelly going back into left back, Jacko.
Yeah, not been a great day for Spence, I'll be honest.
No.
Sadly, didn't get opportunities. He didn't get opportunities to see what he can do in possession, but looks like Lancashire comes on too, number 45.
Well, Lancashire's coming on as well.
Or sorry, Devine. Sorry, my fault.
Devine, Devine. Yeah, he's come on for Papa Matsar.
Maybe Lancashire's 47 or something. I feel like they're a similar number. But Devine has come on. That's interesting for Manoj Postecoglou to go for Devine.
Why have we still not seen Mikey Moore come on? Oh my God, please take him off.
I'm baffled that he hasn't subbed off Johnson, because Johnson's been doing a lot of walking in the last 20 minutes or so. And then also, he has been limping. Like Johnson, every opportunity that he can get, he starts kind of limping. And that shows that he must have something that's kind of bothering him. And it is only preseason. There is no point in pushing a player in these type of games. Donnelly looking a little bit nervous with a poor touch.
Who was that? Good defender by Skip, actually bails him out.
Basuma finds Sonny.
Ref, can you get a grip of him, please? He's more assaults than someone in prison for 15 fucking years.
They have been very physical, Bayern. Porro!
Oh, the Pedrito Porro!
What a goal!
Holy strike!
What an absolute screamer! Oh, Pedro
Oh,
Porro, if
Pedro
anything,
Prisoner 101. What a goal.
it's been
What a
hard. It's
goal.
been hard to be positive about anything, but if any positive you take from this is that
He's been cracking.
Pedro Porro has been something else in comparison to the rest of this team. He's actually been
Oh,
amazing in this game. It's sad to say it, but he has been weirdly.
what a
He's been
strike.
on a different level to the rest of these players. He's the only
Yeah.
one who hasn't looked nervous. He's the only one who's actually completed
Bosh.
passes. I mean, that is just pick
The
it
power
out.
behind it. There's no saving that. Pick it out. Look at the power.
Oh
Oh,
my
it's
gosh, he's
moving.
actually overpowered Sven Ulreich there. It's just gorgeous strike from Pedro. The
Oh, he makes up
postman
for all the misses last week.
delivers. What a goal.
Makes up for all the misses last week, Jacko.
What a goal from Pedro.
Well done, Pedrito. Come on, let's get another one of them.
That's absolutely that's just ridiculous from Pedro.
Just lifted my mood slightly.
Artist just earlier, Dave, I'm not sure if you addressed it, asked, it also disrespects the fans who paid to see us, Dave.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you're absolutely spot on there. To be honest with you, I think us fans are used to being disrespected. Like, you know, no matter what shit's on offer, we still pay for it in some way, shape, or form to watch the games or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but you're right. It is disrespectful towards us, you know. First of all, season ticket holders should have free Spurs play. To charge them an extra 45 quid, I think is shambolic. You know, I think that should be a part of the renewing your season ticket personally. But people that are paying for this, it is disrespectful, you know, from the player's point of view, putting in that sort of fucking effort. It is completely disrespectful.
Saying, goddamn, Jack, you just blew out my speakers. Well, I did ask earlier if I'm louder than Dave.
Nah, dog, we like Jacko's celebrations. You don't want to tame them. You don't want to tame the tiger.
What a strike for Pedro.
What a bloody effort. That's a serious goal. Hopefully now we can take the onus for the last 20 minutes here and go at them. They're making a whole host of changes here. He's been very good, actually, that fullback from Galatasaray.
Yeah.
He has done a great job on Sonny today, to be fair to him, actually.
He's highly rated. He was highly rated. They paid a decent fee for him, unless I'm wrong. And he was very good at Galatasaray. I think this is the player. I'm trying to remember now. Is that the player they bought from? Maybe he didn't go to Bayern. Maybe he went somewhere else. But Newcastle had that really talented youngster, and I wonder if that's the one that I'm confused. Oh, it's
it's a good
behind!
goal.
Oh,
But
Bergvall!
can he get there? He does. Lucas! Oh, he's missed.
Oh,
He's missed.
Bergvall.
How's he missed? He done everything right. What a ball by that by Pedro Porro to Bergvall.
Is that
by the way.
Pedro who played that as
Yeah.
well? Gosh, Pedro's
He's
had a
absolutely
spectacular
split them
house.
open. How's Bergvall missed that, Jack? He hasn't even hit the target.
He got lucky as well, Dave, on the tackle. He did well, to be fair.
He done everything right.
Well, you could say the first
Quick to
touch
get
was.
back up.
I would say the first pass, he didn't seem to be aware that Pedro saw him, and then he kind of lost his
Fair.
footing. And then he did well to win it back, and then he just misses that chance there. Pedro Porro single-handedly trying to get us back into this game, everyone.
Yeah, taking the onus on himself. Love that. Oh, we nearly got Bergvall's first goal in Tottenham colours.
The Big D saying Jack does love an absolute banger. Listen, Big D, I do love a banger, but I probably
Sends him to a different world.
I'd probably go crazier if it just went off Pedro's backside for an equalizer at this point. The postman, indeed, Danny Darko.
Hold that, Donnelly.
Uh,
Oh, it's a poor option out. No one there. She just had it to
He
nobody.
didn't have a lot to play to, but it's hard. Skip.
Ref, come on, at some point.
Oh, that's poor from Skip. Just can't go down that easily.
I think the referee's a Bayern Munich fan.
Maybe
Oh,
so.
no, they're in here.
Well done, Emerson,
Oh,
again.
well done. Emerson, great bloody defending from Emerson there.
I think Emerson played well in the last game, too, against the K-League 11. Everybody, of course,
Yeah, he's really good against.
everybody made a big deal of him getting spun by the youngster Youngman Hook, but I actually think he played well in the last game. Johnson, he's got a clean pair of heels.
Oh, my fucking Lord, it's behind him. I'm sorry. Take him off. I cannot watch him anymore. He burns my eyes. He actually reduces me to tears, and not in a good way. How has he not put that in front of Sonny there?
It's not a
Even if the
rom-com.
defender gets there, okay. But to put it behind him and he's no one near him, oh, it hurts.
Back post! Oh!
It really hurts from Johnson. Really hurts me. How has he put it behind him? I don't get it, man. It's like you have to play opposites with the guy. You have to tell him to put it behind him. He'll put it in front of him. Bergvall on the corner. Let's see what he's like from set pieces. Come on, let's go after this, Tottenham. 20 minutes left. It's yours for the taking. Oh, it's a free header. How has he missed that? Or has it been cleared?
I think it got blocked or cleared. Good touch from
Well,
Bergvall.
Lucas. Ah, saucy from Bergvall.
Basuma.
Oh, Basuma. Poor.
He's just
Didn't
been a
need
little
to
too
do that.
casual this game, Basuma. We
Yeah,
literally
that's
have
shocking
no
from
one back.
Basuma.
We literally have no one back.
He fucking nearly cost us a goal there. He's got to wake up, Basuma there.
That's
Can't
also-
be giving away possession like that when no one's back there.
Well, what are we doing with no one back there, though? That's also a question mark.
True. Yeah, true. Kulusevski wins a throw-in. He hasn't been great today either. We've struggled to get him into the game.
This has been a lot better, says a lot of people in the chat. Yeah, it has. And
Since the subs, the kids coming in, making an impact.
that's my, again, that was my comment from earlier. Like, people felt like the kids were the ones that were letting us down in that first half. Technically, the only kid that was on there was Archie Gray. Archie Gray's been taken off, and now we put on more youngsters, and all of a sudden, Spurs are technically back into this, technically.
Not single-handedly by Pedro Porro, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm not giving them too much credit, but because it has been carried very much by Pedro Porro. Mikey Moore, though, I'm seeing him given a handshake by Postecoglou. Looks like he'll come on here for the last 18 minutes.
Come on, Mikey. Come on. Score or assist and just put Johnson to bed. Tuck him in. Send him night-night.
Here's my thing, Dave. It's actually regardless of Johnson's quality or anything, but I just don't understand. If Johnson's, a few times I saw him limping, and then he was then walking because of it. I don't know why on earth then he was staying on the pitch for that reason. I just don't get that.
I don't either, but part of me thinks it's a mentality problem because he had no problem opening the burners when he was going forward on the ball there. You know what I mean? I think part of it's play acting. I'm going to limp here so I can get away without doing the track and back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it from Brendan Johnson whatsoever.
That's fair because he was absolutely sprinting for his life. Just earlier.
I think he's play acting out there now. I think he knows he's out of his depth right now, to be brutally honest, and he's looking for excuses. I'm sorry, at 23 years of age, he's not a kid, and we got to stop addressing this guy like he's a kid as well.
Daniel Larson saying, what if Dave actually has the crush on Johnson and it's not Ange?
No, honestly, it is Ange.
Oh.
At this point, trust me. Look, Johnson's a nice guy, a great guy. Like he's the sort of guy I'd want my daughter to marry, right? He's not the guy I want in my football team, you know. Jose Mourinho said it years ago. You need nasty bees, you know. Johnson's way too nice.
This is Dave wants Johnson to cross the aisle with his daughter, but he doesn't want him to cross a football.
I question could he cross the aisle, to be honest with you, Jack? At this point,
maybe you walk down the aisle. Actually, you don't cross the aisle.
He'd probably fumble over his own feet. Here we go, Moore, Lancashire, and Werner.
Timo Weenie.
And Austin's gone into goals instead of Gunter.
I'd argue that Timo Weenie's actually played better than Johnson.
Werner's been better than Johnson, but again, it shouldn't be a bar we should be using for Werner. Son.
Timo Speedy onto the pitch.
Not as impactful today. He's actually had a poor game today, son. But you know what? He's had a decent pre-season.
Had a tough day today, Sonny. I wouldn't say he was poor or anything, just obviously wasn't as involved. To be honest, the whole team was poor, though, so it's hard. The only player that has stuck out is Pedro Porro. He's literally the only one.
Please take the armband off, Skip, I beg. Why is he getting it?
Yeah, that's a concern. It's kind of like Ben Davies being given the armband.
700 people in the house, guys. Only 312 likes. Look, I'm pretty sure we can do better than that. We'll settle for 400 or 500. We'll settle for a 60% ratio.
We don't want to have to get Timo Werner to do the math, but the math isn't adding up.
Emerson. Out to Burt. Oh, it's given away.
Bergvall. Given away.
Go
Oh,
on, get back there, kid. Ah, show him the way around. That's what we're talking about.
strength.
When have I ever seen Johnson do that?
good strength.
He loves it as well. Look at him, powerhouse. My Nordic Viking. Play it out. Well done.
Bergvall. Good
Well done.
touch.
Great play by Bergvall. We've got 4 on 3 here. We better
Got
get shot
Lancashire
on
as
goal.
well. Lancashire, he's taking up space in the penalty area. Can we get it into him later? Timo Weenie. That's a terrible decision from Timo Weenie, but it wasn't a bad shot.
He's not renowned for scoring outside the box, though, is
Yeah,
he?
I'm a little surprised that he's gone for that, but he's full of confidence against this Bayern team. Former Stuttgart
let's
man. And
Get
Leipzig.
Mikey on the ball. Well done, Emerson. Let's go, Mikey. Oh, unlucky. He's live wire. 15 minutes left. Can we get the equaliser?
Bergvall. Well done. Skip.
Oh
Jeez,
my God,
jeez,
he can't
jeez,
even get his
jeez,
feet
man.
sorted out.
Jeez, man. Jeez, get it out from under your feet. Basuma, bro.
He's been useless since he's come on, Basuma.
He hasn't been.
Well, stem from Skip. He didn't need to take 10 minutes to get his feet sorted out
No,
there.
it does come also from Skip there, just taking too long. But
Like
Basuma,
that one mistake makes other people nervous and puts other people under needless pressure. Stupid.
frustratingly so, I would say Basuma hasn't been that much better than Archie Gray was in the first half, which is not something I'm happy
And you
about.
think with Basuma coming on, he would have been better on the ball, maybe, and he hasn't. He's
Yeah.
carried the ball a few times, but the mistakes probably outweigh the good he's done.
He's carried the ball better, but then what's weird, Dave, is his first touch has been off. Like literally from the first play of the game, remember? He tried to control the ball and he literally let it go under his foot. It then led to a Bayern counter. Like, Skip.
And then the one where from the corner kick where he gave away, they nearly countered and scored. The mistakes have outweighed the good things or the positive things he's tried to do.
Well, he's just looked a bit casual in this game to me.
Yeah, way too casual.
Bergvall, see the runs,
Bergie.
mate. See the runs. You have him. Oh,
That's a good ball. Oh, Lancashire just couldn't get it under
oh.
control.
It wasn't
Unlucky
Mikey Moore,
Bergvall.
but he had Donnelly, man. He had Donnelly just right there, in
I'm going to
behind.
be screaming at him. He's dying for his first goal, Jamie is.
I just don't know how he didn't see him. Pedro. Yeah, how did
It's
he
gone
not?
out for
That's a corner.
corner.
How did he
Cute.
not see him there, though, Bergvall? He made the run twice.
Jack, people want to know, is your clock correct?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it should be.
77.
It should be. What is the case is that since we
Maybe
run
it's
it
a
on
minute
OBS, no, it's not. Since we run it on OBS, everyone, it is technically we're about 30 to 40 seconds behind you guys. Obviously, if you know anything about streaming, is that you can't technically be right on time with where you guys are watching it live. There will be some type of delay of some kind. And in the case of OBS, there can be a significant delay in certain cases. So that's just your tech explanation if you need one, everybody. Sadly, we cannot be there in the same room with you at the same time on the exact same time as you guys.
Wayne Bonner's gifted out. Another Abbott's coming on here. Who's he coming on for? I'll get that update in a second. But Wayne Bonner has gifted out another channel membership, and it's gone to Emily Dunn. I'll get her to put in one and forward that on now.
I can try to take care of that.
That's a bit of conflict of interest there, so I'll get her to pass that one on to somebody else, Wayno. But great support, Wayno. I love it. Really appreciate it, brother. 12 minutes to go. What can Tottenham do here? Mikey Moore, good bloody pressure. Bloody great pressure. Oh, fuck me, that's unbelievable. Oh, unlucky. Love that. Didn't even give away a free kick there. That's brilliant from the young guy. Bergvall. Good ball. I just couldn't get there. Good idea.
Hey, Tom. How you doing? Thanks for joining us back again, sir. Hopefully you've been having a good summer.
Yeah, big up, Tom. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. And Jack's also passed that on to Nova. So, Nova, big yourself up. Make sure you thank Wayno inadvertently for that. Big up, Tom, though. Great to see you. And Nick says, I'm surprised Ange didn't take Porro off. I know. He's
Yeah.
been our best player. He's trying to get back into this. We want to win, Nick.
Yeah, he's trying to save face maybe a little bit, Nick. He's selfishly probably wanting that scoreline to not be as embarrassing to Spurs, I guess, and so he wants to keep Porro on to see if he can. And also Porro, I mean, he's practically provided 2 goals for us. He played that pass in behind for Bergvall, and he scored that screamer. You know that. I mean, you definitely know that. You've been watching this game, but yeah, I wonder if Ange is selfishly keeping him on for that reason.
Probably. He knows we'll go into meltdown if we lose, regardless of it being pre-season. Well done, Bergvall. He's really picked it up this half. He's done well today. It's a good run.
Oh, Mikey.
Oh, well done.
There you go, son. No, sorry, that wasn't Mikey.
It was Divine.
Divine.
Back to Divine. Again, what are you doing, Divine? He's like, he keeps giving the ball away. It finds its way back at his feet, and he does it again.
I'm surprised that wasn't a corner.
$63,000 in attendance for a pre-season friendly. That is absolutely insane. Half Premier League clubs don't even get that for a Premier League game, and they can welcome Chelsea or United to their stadium. That's it. Get after it more. Go on. Now you, Lanky. Let's go. Is that Emerson? He just charges around the place. It's like he wants to stay at Tottenham.
It's like he wants to stay at Tottenham, or he's like doing his best like Romero impression. Like he's doing his, it's like he's become Romero, like while Romero's gone. Like that's something Romero would do. Oh, get that under control, Will.
It's so funny. The way he's going around and the way he's throwing himself in on things. It's genuinely like he wants to stay here. Steve Fraser says, I think the only thing that matters is that this game will be good for our development. Do you know what, Stevie? I hope so. I need to have a bit of whatever you're on today, to be brutally honest with you, my man. So I do. You know, calm me down a little bit. And someone else says pornography. Definitely, for sure. 18 plus content, my man. It's a great one, that.
That's, I mean, sometimes...
I'd probably sign up for that, to be honest.
Pedro
Just get Pedro Porro skills or passes or a goal every time you pay him a $5 or whatever.
Basuma, get rid of it, man. It's gonna...
It's a free kick. We'll have that.
He's gone for all the swag today, Basuma. He's got the arm sleeve. He's got the short shorts. He's got the low socks. Big fan of that.
Tyler said, yeah.
That's what I look like on my runs. Sorry, interrupting you.
No, you're all right. Oh, unlucky. Tyler says, Bergvall is so refreshing. You're absolutely spot on, my man. He's just offers us so much more than what Maddison does. At this moment in time, it's shocking, really, from Maddison. But you're right, he is refreshing. He's just a good presence on the ball.
A lot of people in the chat talking about Maddison being done.
Oh, Jesus,
it's another concerning performance from Maddison, really.
Yeah.
Mikey Moore.
Go. What can he do?
Lovely. George Abbott.
The ball back to Mikey. Lay it off.
Can he get lucky?
I like that, though. Nice and direct. Straight at his man. Trying to make shit happen. That's what we're talking about, Mikey.
Good run from George Abbott as well to show for him there. Divine. Nice pass by Divine. Nicely done by Abbott. And his offside, Mikey
Abbott was
Moore.
saying to Moore to leave it. He wanted it. He wanted to deal with it.
I think Abbott didn't even need to play it to Mikey Moore, actually. If Abbott had that bit of extra time in his head, he maybe could have tried to think about the cross instead of giving it to Mikey Moore to cross it.
AB16 says, these kids are so much better. Darren Caban, good to see you. We still need to bring in a 3 or 4. We still need to bring in 3 or 4 by the end of the window.
Bergvall.
Yeah, let's wait and see what happens.
Basuma, find.
Too hard. It's over here.
Why is it that the senior players, senior players can't even execute the passes, and the younger players can? It's sad.
How can you overhit a ball for Werner with the pace that guy's got?
Yeah,
honestly, I don't get it. It's baffling.
That's a fair point. How do you overhit a pass to Timo Speedy?
It's baffling, that.
That's a fair point. That's a hard thing to do.
Very hard thing to do. Especially when he's that open.
Not like he's not guaranteed Timo's going to have a great first touch, but he's definitely going to catch up to it.
Fuck's sake, Basuma.
He's way 100%.
It's just baffling.
Basuma's way too relaxed this game.
Way too relaxed out there.
Basuma, man, fucking wake up, dude.
It's like, honestly,
It's embarrassing. Oh, what a pass. Ugh. Good try from Donnelly. Really good try. Good foul as well. But seriously, like, that's again, like, why is it that the younger players also seem to give a damn?
It's like Basuma's had fucking 20 beers out there. He's so calm.
He had too much Korean street food before the game, which is supposed to be so good, the Korean street food.
Babe, just close the door and do whatever you need to do in there.
Dave, mute yourself if you want. Save from Austin there at the near post. Just after my recent criticism.
Someone says Jack swore. I think we'll have a game. How badly can Tottenham piss Jack off this season?
Hey, that's an added perk of being a member, by the way, everybody, is that you do get to see me curse more often on the members-only content since we don't get in trouble, and I don't get in trouble.
Oh, good tackle. There's a good tackle there by Skip, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking that Skip and Emerson actually have looked better than Davies and Dragishin did also as well in the first half. I don't think that first half was on Dragishin or Davies, though, for the most part. I think there's other areas that were struggling more. Donnelly.
Divine. Into Biss. Bissy. Out to Bergval.
I think that's Timo.
What the fuck's he doing over on the right-hand side?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, lucky Abbott.
He's worked hard. He's worked hard, George Abbott. He's making a lot of runs. Shawnee Maddox saying, I wish we had Lolo for this game.
Do you know what I'm really annoyed with, Lolo, Shawnee? You know, I'm annoyed with some of our players and how long they took to get back in general, to be honest. You look at some of the Argentinian players at other clubs, they're back already. Oh, Basuma, please. He's killing us this game. He's absolutely killed us this half, Basuma.
Well done, Austin.
Makes a save.
No, he's made a few. He's actually had to make 3 now.
Doesn't look as rattled as he did against the K-League 11, which is weird. You think he'd be rattled for this game and not the K-League one. So has Mikey Moore gone out to the left then? Vernon's still out here on the right. Must be switched over from the last couple of minutes.
Jack is unfamiliar with the concept of the swear jar. No, my mind could not comprehend. Oh, that's a pour from Bergval.
It's the one mistake he's made all game. It's just gone wide.
I didn't have a swear jar because I think I did most of my cursing around my friends. And then eventually I just sort of, at a certain age, I really did stop cursing. It's not like that intentional. It's just for some reason I lost that potty mouth.
Over here in Ireland, it's hard because even if you try not to, everyone else around you is swearing. So, like, you know, it's hard. But come on, Tottenham, let's see if we can go and nick one more chance here. See if we can get an equaliser with 1 minute to go. Skip, good ball into Basuma. Please wake up. A bit of urgency now.
There you go. Oh, and he still overplays it, man. And he also played it. He could have just given it to Donnelly as well. Donnelly came in field. Basuma, man. Emerson can play the pass. That's fucking pathetic.
Werner, please. On the overlap. Give it to him.
Timo.
No. You've seen him make that run for you, so why do you run into the run that he's making for you? Cut inside or feed him.
Why is it that Emerson can play the pass that Basuma cannot? That's also a concern. Emerson plays the pass and behind that Basuma hasn't been able to play 3 times now.
Basuma's so relaxed, I'm concerned about him. He's offside line now. I think if Basuma just had a bit more urgency about his play at times, I think he'd be a great player.
I think Basuma has played pretty well for the most part this preseason. And what the concerning thing that is about Basuma is that he'll have really good games, and then the next game or at some point he'll have a game that you just are like, what has happened to Basuma?
Mm,
Or like you said, did he take something before the game? Or like,
seems like it.
and we've said that a lot about him last season. He's just not. He's not the sign of consistency, sadly.
So, oh, you pressed the wrong one. Some of the players have been so relaxed today, especially the first half. It's like they were all smoking off a fucking blunt in the first half, to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah. Those kits are kind of shocking. It's hard to even tell what numbers they have.
Yeah. It's like a Halloween design on the back. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like and their names are written in, I believe, Korean,
Yeah,
which I think is pretty cool, actually. But the rest of the design is pretty bleh. Oh, and behind to the Spanish player. He's got to be well off, isn't he? Decent finish, actually.
Good finish, though.
Decent finish. Dodgy haircut.
Yeah, wouldn't be my go-to. Ribsy might like it, though.
You think Rizzy likes that one?
Suited Ribsy more, though, I'd argue. Emerson. Better ball. Well done, Abbott. On to Bergval. Unorthodoxly on to Abbott. Werner, just play it around the corner. Fucking play it. Oh, my lord.
Play it in behind. Play it in behind. Play it in behind. Play it around the defender. Why is it that our senior pros cannot execute a pass? These are professional players who played for numerous clubs at a high level, and our 18-year-old players seem to be able to execute these passes. It's pathetic.
All Werner has to do is pop that around in front of the fullback. He plays it behind it. What is he doing?
Oh my God, he's just ballooning it back to the goalkeeper now. Jesus, lads. This is concerning. Like, seriously, all of the younger players have just been far better. Far better.
I just can't believe Werner hasn't made that pass. And it's indicative of the one beforehand when Moore made the run. All he's got to do is slide him in and he runs into where he's making the run to. Werner's just brain dead at times. He's a guy you need in front of goal where he can't think about his decision making. Because the minute he has time to think about it, he's atrocious. That's offside.
It's funny to see the sweat stains on Vincent Kompany versus Ange.
Vincent Kompany's been out roaring at his players, I'd say. That's why all the game. Fairness, he's been very vocal on that sideline. Emily Dunn has pushed on a membership to Bush Ranger. So there you are, Bush Ranger, lucky recipient, an artist tee. We will hold that and we'll get to that in just 2 minutes, my man, okay? Just bear with us. Just see this game out. 2 minutes left.
Jamie.
Oh, that's good play by Donnelly.
Get there, Mikey. Just
well
left
done.
a little short. Mikey. Good try, though.
Yeah, left it short. Can we hunt it back? Well done, Bergval and Abbott. Oh, Lord, Basuma. You just allowed him to make you. 1 minute, 30 seconds left.
Can Spurs find a late equalizer?
Just quickly, guys, do not be afraid to send your, if you are a fan show member and above, we'll be putting up a post in the community section on where to send your thoughts on this game too in a fan cam. So just keep an eye out for that as soon as the watch along ends today, guys. Oh, fuck me, Basuma. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. What is wrong with him today? Well done, Austin. No. Well done.
Has Emerson said something to that guy afterwards as well? Emerson is playing like it's a real match.
I'm telling you, he wants to stay, lad. He doesn't want to go anywhere.
What's more funny, too, is I think Emerson is similar to Højbjerg, where I think Ange actually randomly likes him, despite the fact that he wants to leave.
Yeah. Basuma, there's 30 seconds left. Let's just go for it.
Abbott. Good switch of play. Oh, nearly.
Good idea. Just get it underway. Let's go again. Let's get one more chance here.
Again, though, why is it taking an 18-year-old like Abbott to try to even attempt that sort of thing? There are 2 balls on the pitch. And it looks like we've now reached the 95th, and it is going to be full time, 2-1. better performance in the second half, and because probably the youngsters have come on with practically more pressure, I'd say, as well in that
More
second half.
energy,
More energy, but
better
I'd say they were
expression.
under more pressure too because everybody was definitely performing quite poorly in that game. And it's hilarious that Emerson has gotten into an argument with this guy for just a preseason game. But the artist, we have to get to this, and it was a big highlight of this match. I think some of the big takeaways from today, which we'll probably say more than once, is that the reinforcements are desperately needed. That's been a big theme of this game, and that they need to happen as soon as possible, these reinforcements throughout the squad, throughout the 11. But then also the midfield was a huge concern today. They were really poor today. And artists saying, people went after me for saying no one realizes how poor our midfield is overall. We needed an Eze. There's a reason why he was in Germany and not Matters. I mean, Dropkicker teacher, artist, I mean, we would completely agree with you on Eze. He's probably someone who I've been a big fan of for the last 3 or 4 years. Someone who I actually think when we first were even linked with Madison, I'm pretty sure you could, might as well go back and find it. But I think there are clips of me even saying when we first were signing Madison, when we signed him that last summer, that I said I actually would have preferred an Eze even then over him. And I think the last summer was a reflection of the fact that Eze just had a much better season than James Madison, was far more deserving. And I think he would do really well in this system. He's such a good ball carrier. He has that eye for a pass. He also has an eye for a goal as well. He can handle the pressure because he played for a Crystal Palace team where he was expected to be the creator as well as the goal scorer for their team. And he's took on that responsibility well there. And I think he would do wonderful in this team, either in the midfield as a number 10. He can play on the wing because he is quality enough to play out there. I think he would be a welcome addition to this team, and he would probably displace more than just Madison. He would displace other teams. He'd displace Johnson. He'd displace a lot of people in this team. But Dave, I mean, Dropkicker teacher, I hope we didn't give you too much of a hard time about your comments about the midfield. I'm sorry about that. But, I mean, Dave, that's a huge highlight of today, sadly, is that the midfield was just simply not up for it.
100%. It was a huge disappointment in the first half and probably reflected with the changes that Ange Postecoglou made at half-time. Look, when it comes to Madison, I completely agree with Artis. You know, look, I did say at the time I would have preferred Pedro Goncalves when his name was him or Madison. I said at the time I'd prefer Pedro Goncalves. I had worries about Madison's ego, and unfortunately, the guy just does not get it. You know, he thought he could come back into the Tottenham lineup second half of last season and just stroll into the Euro squad without producing anything. You know, and yeah, he can sit there and be angry and look at the people around him. But then that just goes to show everything about the guy. You always look at your first self before you look at anybody else. You come back then this preseason after getting omitted from the England squad, and he's done absolutely jack shit. Again, he's strolling around out there. This is what I don't like. You know, they're talking about winning trophies. And they're strolling around out there. Some of the players that talk about winning trophies haven't even fucking impacted the team over the course of this preseason and stuff like that, which is a concern. You know, Madison's a leader. He couldn't even hold on to the ball out there today. Bergvall's an 18-year-old kid who most of the experience he had is in the Swedish second division, not even the first division, the second division. And he comes here and look how he plays today. On the ball, bright, enthusiastic. And why? Because he cares more. He wants it more. That's the truth of it. He wants it a lot more. You look at him going around barreling people off the ball. Madison gets a tackle. He has to have 10 rolls and a fucking flip. It's absolutely embarrassing. I pointed this out to you a few weeks ago, Jack. You know, and at the time I said maybe this is just me being mean, but every time the guy gets tackled, he has to roll around, get the physios on, call out the ambulance, you know, call out the Air of Malta service, make sure James is okay, and then he plays on, and he completely slows down the game, kills the rhythm. That guy needs a wake-up call. Someone needs to plunge him into a cold pool very, very quickly and get him to shock and wake the fuck up. Papa Matasar, very non-existent today, tried, you know, but again, and look, it's really hard when everyone else off it around in that midfield is off it, because all it leaves you doing is chasing shadows. You can be on it, go and close one guy down, but if Madison's slacking there, it's pop round them. You've wasted your energy completely. You know, Gray completely out of depth. On the ball, couldn't get a grip of it, which meant we couldn't even, and when we tried to hit Johnson and Werner, it was just being taken off us. Basuma came on in the second half, got a grip of the ball a lot more, but again, very lackadaisical. And then out of possession, actually, Gray was non-existent. Out of possession, Basuma was non-existent. I think Devine done okay when he came on, actually, and Bergval. But the midfield is a huge problem, Martis. You're absolutely spot on. And look, I would absolutely love Eze to come in here. I think he puts, like Jack says, puts a lot of people on notice, puts a lot of people on their toes. You know, we need something a bit different. Madison is a prima donna. Look at me, great touch. Give me a free kick. I've done my job. Eze's not like that. Eze's got that nitty-gritty that I like. Give me the ball. You want to take me out? No problem. I'm going to ride that contact. I'm going to make sure I'm going to make something happen. Complete different mentalities. And that's why one sat at home watching the Euros with Jack and Dave, and one actually participated.
Brilliantly put, Dave. And Madison has so many question marks right now with him because he played pretty poorly, I think, in the recent game where he wasted a lot of chances in front of goal. You actually think about that last season where he played super well in the first 10 games, but then after he returned back from injury, he just came back a very different player. Leicester City fans even warned us, or people maybe more aware of Madison before he came to Spurs, did say he had this in him where he does kind of fade in and out, but I don't think you can get away with that at Tottenham Hotspur. You might be able to get away with that at Leicester City, but I don't think you can get away with that at this club because there are people that are going to be competing for your spot, and you have come in for a big fee as well, and you are wearing the number 10 shirt, the former kit of Harry Kane. I just don't think you can get away with this type of attitude or performance that he's had in the last, let's say, what is it, more than 4 or 5 months now, and I know it's only preseason. It's just that we're not really seeing any signs of a different player this much in preseason. And also Bergval, who practically has a free hit. So there is maybe a difference in mentality there where Bergval might feel a bit more free and kind of where he is. Like he just has to impress Postecoglou just a little bit to try to get some minutes. He's practically lining himself up for a starting spot in the opening game against Madison's former club. I wouldn't be surprised if even Ange Postecoglou thinks about starting Bergval ahead of Madison against his former club because he's just been that much more convincing, that much better. And Bergval also technically can even play as an 8. He doesn't even need to play as a 10 as well. It's concerning really that Madison is just at this level. And to be honest too, defensively, I just don't even know how he really fits the system as much anymore because he doesn't seem to want to work very hard out of possession like Pop Matasar does, like Gray does, like Basuma does, like pretty much the rest of the midfield. That Madison doesn't really work that hard out of possession either, so he needs to deliver the goods creatively as well, and he just simply hasn't been, and he's just been a lot of question marks over him recently, the artist, and we're probably being very critical of him, but I don't see how you can't be. I mean, he's just had guys that, you know, have been playing much better than him in this preseason, and it's a big concern. It's a big question mark.
But you know what, Jack, all right? I'd take the excuse of it's preseason for the likes of Son, right? You know he's going to perform. You know he's going to put it in. Does every single season. For him, it's genuinely about building up fitness. But I'm not. You can't say the same for James Maddison. The guy's a massive point to prove.
Yeah.
He's a laughing stock in the world of football right now. The guy thought he was going to Euros and didn't. You know, he's piss poor for Tottenham right now. You know, he's the laughing stock of football right now. It's not preseason for him. He should have came to preseason with a point to prove, and he hasn't.
Yeah. And with Eze, I mean, we would never disagree with you on that one, the artist. And again, I'm sorry that people maybe gave you some stick for your comments about the midfield, but when it comes to Eze, Dave and I are in complete agreement. We absolutely love the guy, and we think he would be a welcome addition to this team and pretty much walk in. He would absolutely stroll into the starting 11, either for Brennan Johnson's spot. I don't even care if he isn't a right winger or not. Eze would be far better. And then in the case of Madison's spot, he would also stroll in and take that position as well. Pretty much any position is open to him in this team. Really appreciate your support today, Dropkick Your Teacher, as everyone else today. Thank you for coming over. Thank you for picking us as your watch-along destination. Please, if you would like to, smash the like button as well. It does help us push out these watch-alongs to more and more people. Thanks for even trusting us to give out the commentary, give our analysis, you know, our criticisms, all that type of thing. We do appreciate you guys. And Jerome saying Bergval is a great player. He's a good signing and cannot be complimented with the likes of a Skip and a Davies. We better bring in someone like Eze. Before we get on to Skip and Davies, because I think that's kind of a separate issue, Jerome. It's more a sign of kind of just Spurs, right, continuing to hold on to certain players that just aren't good enough. And because they occupy the homegrown or they're kind of well-liked around the club, Spurs just end up holding on to them just way too long. So I think that's a slightly different thing, and that we'll touch on in just a second. But Bergval, this guy is special. And I think what is surprising me is apparently according to his CEO of his former club, or the former owner, I think at Djurgården, or the sporting director, that interview that he did with Ali Gold, he felt like, and you would think that this sporting director would have a very high opinion of Bergvall. This guy said it would probably take him about 6 to 12 months to kind of settle in, embed into the team, get to understand London, understand Ange, understand the system. Bergvall hasn't needed that much time at all. In fact, he's looked debatably much better than the rest of the midfielders in that number 10 position, and I think he is lining himself up for a start in the Premier League, to be honest. If you were going to be bold, and if you wanted to go by recent form, and if you want to go by what you've seen on the pitch thus far this preseason, Bergvall, I think, has pretty much taken Madison's spot at this moment in time. And we want there to be a competitive environment. We want there to be a competitive atmosphere in the training camp. We don't want everyone just to be buddy-buddy and all assume that their starting positions are just given to them, that it's just easy to take. I think Bergvall is someone who's really playing himself into the starting 11, and that's just a sign of his quality. It's a sign of how good this kid can be. And to be honest, it's a classic Spurs signing, where it's a guy that we brought in for pretty much pennies. I think, what was it, around 10 million or something for this guy?
Yeah.
And he's turning out to be a top level player. And that's a typical Spurs signing, somebody who we didn't really feel like we needed, someone who we didn't really know much about, and then ends up just being a really top quality player, or future top quality player, let's say. And I'm very impressed by Bergvall. I have nothing bad to say about him. Maybe apart from the finish. Then again, that's when, I know I've said this lots of times today to probably piss off Dave, but that's when I can probably say it's only preseason. When Bergvall misses, a chance like that, it's not really the end of the world when he missed that chance, because it's not like we were really playing so well anyways to really deserve, a draw, or really deserve, the win or anything. But he did miss that chance today, so that's maybe the only thing I could technically kind of put on his doorstep that would be of anything slightly negative towards him. But he's been great. He's been amazing.
Do you know what I like about him, Jack? It's just how good he is on the ball and how positive he is on the ball. Just gets on the ball. He wants to play forward. He wants to make things happen. Look, that miss today, his finishing probably needs a little bit of work, right? He at least hit the target. He didn't even hit the target. But that'll come. He's only 18 years of age. The guy is an absolute supreme talent. Every game he's come into this season, and bear in mind, people have made excuses for Johnson. You've got to give him time. You've got to give him time to settle in. Don't have to say that about my 18-year-old Bergvall, do we? He just comes in, give me the ball, I'll show you how to play. This guy is a real player, Jerome, and that's the sign of a real player. Someone at 18 years of age that just walks into an environment like that, forgets everyone else around them. I'm going to show you how good I am. Give me the ball. Absolutely love it. And do you know what else I like, Jerome? The kid's got that grit and that work rate to match with it. He doesn't just stand there going, I don't have to do any defensive work, don't have to run about, because I'm so good on the ball. He doesn't have that about him. He's just no attitude, nothing like that. It's just pure honesty from the guy, and I absolutely love it. And we need to progress him. It just comes down to, does Ange Postecoglou have the bollocks to drop James Maddison against Leicester and play Bergvall? Because you got to understand, we can just sit here and say, off form, it's an easy decision to make. But if I feel like I know James Maddison the way I do, he gets dropped first game of the season against Leicester. He ain't going to take that well and could potentially cause a huge problem. So it's just whether Ange Postecoglou has the balls to do it. Let's wait and see, Jerome.
And he can play more than one position as well. He could play even an 8, too. And Pop Matasar, hard to say, with him, because I think he's still someone that probably relies more on kind of the creativity of others, and then he can really flourish, because what you get with him is that work rate and that kind of tempo out of possession, where he does work really hard to win it back, and he can get up and down the pitch super well. But even Bergvall could technically play ahead of Sarr as a number 8, and he has that really good creative ability, and he works really hard out of possession. There's only good things that we can really say when it comes to Bergvall. We have, at this point, well over 760 in the house. Everyone has been, I think, a very, I don't know, it's just been two big themes from this watch-along today. It's been the lack of reinforcements have really come to show here. It's been a wake-up call for Ange Postecoglou. The fact that he doesn't have those reinforcements, been a wake-up call to some of these players, I think, with the way that they've been outclassed by this Bayern team. some of also the younger players, sadly, like an Archie Gray, really did not perform well today, and were very intimidated by the by the occasion and by the team that they were up against, and just the sheer tempo of the game. And then also this midfield, Archie Gray just mentioned, but I think in general the midfield today was really poor. Even Basuma, who came on later, was about as bad as Archie Gray was. And Basuma, you would think, would have come on, had seen what Archie Gray, wasn't doing well, could have seen what Bayern might have been doing to put him under pressure, and could have then taken advantage of, that time from not starting, and then he could, come on and make a real impact. I don't think he did. Like we said with Madison, just again, not convincing. Pop Matasar, I don't think really had the best of games either, sadly. Really was only Bergvall and maybe some of the youngsters that came on, like Devine, that started to show some signs of being a bit better in this game. But for the most part, the midfield was a big, big concern today. The lack of reinforcements up top, the lack of different players to pick from, and the forward line was a big concern for today. And we're also still seeing, like Jerome was talking about, guys like Skip, guys like Davies in the team. I don't really want to, as much as we love to do it, because they have been our scapegoats in the past, I don't really want to put too much on the doorstep of Skip and Davies, because I actually don't think they played too poorly today. I think there were actually others in the team that played a lot worse that I have a much higher and stronger opinion of. But it is more of a reflection of just kind of the lack of ruthlessness sometimes in Spurs, and that they do keep around some of these guys that just we all know aren't good enough, shouldn't be around the team, and shouldn't even really be available to Ange Postecoglou to pick, right? Why are they even available for him to pick? Why is it that Skip is, wearing the captain's armband, as the backup captain to Sonny in one of these games? It's just, that is a concern. But I will say this, I actually don't think Skip played that poorly today, and I actually don't even think Davies played that poorly today. Emerson didn't even play that poorly today, and he's also going to be leaving sometime soon. So it's sadly the guys that I have more question marks about, more concerns about, are the players that I actually really rate in this team, and guys that I actually do know that can play a lot better, like the Grays, like the Madisons, like the Basumas of this world in this team.
Son
So
was poor as well in the first half. He's
yeah,
marked out of the game by your man.
the
You know,
whole
he,
first
he
team
needs
was
to step
poor in
up.
the
Yeah.
first half, except for Porro. Porro is the only player who you could say actually played consistently well and actually wasn't intimidated by this Bayern team.
No, 100%. 100%. And as well at half time, we were starting to see all the kids. In fact, I think the kids actually deserve a lot of praise today because they actually, I'll be honest, saved us a bit of face today. That could have easily went on to be a bit embarrassing. But since them substitutions were made, they just brought that intensiveness that we need, that energy, that willingness to go and do the press and do the hard yards. And it sort of got us back into the game alongside Pedro Porro because they matched what Pedro Porro was trying to do. And it worked out well for us in the second half. Still not enough to get us over the line and go and get that win. But I do think that the youngsters deserve to come out with praise because, again, there's always question marks. Oh, they're not going to carry us. And I think we're getting onto the realms of we're almost degrading the youngsters we have because we're unhappy with the business that the club have done so far. And I think we have to learn to separate that. And I think it's okay to sit here and go, you know what, youngsters have done absolutely fantastic. But in order to help these guys and bring them on and not throw them under the bus where we're relying on them week in, week out, we need to bring in more individuals to help this cause. And I think that's the way we should go about it in future instead of, going after the youngsters, going, oh, they're not going to be good enough to, carry us. Because all you're doing is you're killing their career before it's even begun. And I don't like that, especially with the talent we've got coming through. One other thing I would say is maybe a takeaway is I think it looks like we're not going to get a number 6. Ange has to make some change to not leave us so exposed or so open on the counter. Yes, people are going to counter me and say Dave Romero and Van Ven will come back in. It'll look a bit better to a degree. But, we got ripped open in the Premier League last season on the counter-attack, and we still have been very vulnerable this pre-season. That is something I'm adamant Ange needs to change, and I think change slightly for his own good, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Even I think it's something that probably hasn't been mentioned enough because we don't want to always give every single player this excuse all the time in this preseason, but also something that could be mentioned as well is it definitely has been a long sort of week out in Asia for these players, and they've been training under really warm weather. They only just played on Wednesday, and maybe this was a bit of them kind of taking a bit of their foot off the gas, where they're showing signs of tiredness, showing signs of fatigue from the training, from the warm weather training, from also these warm weather games, which are not really that reflective of what it will be like in England when they go back for the Premier League season. And it's something that I think Dave and I only mentioned a couple of times for that reason, because you can only say that so many times, and you can only give that excuse so many times. But there is maybe that sort of thing that could have been brought up maybe once or twice a bit more by us, and that these guys might have had that sort of mentality of, I think they're about to get on the plane tonight or tomorrow to go back to the UK. So there might be that sort of feeling that some of these guys might have just wanted to take a bit of their foot off the gas in this game and just sort of, ride and cruise through it and in hopes that Bayern weren't going to be up for it and Bayern weren't going to be, giving out their 100%, and they did. And I think it caught us very much off guard in that department. But also the quality was really lacking, and that's not really due to tiredness or anything. There was really poor quality. Misplaced passes. How many times did we have some of our midfielders today where they just had a guy completely clean through, and then we couldn't even play or execute the pass? Some of our midfielders missed basic through balls, basic passes that you would think that they'd be able to play. Even Dave mentioned, I think, forget if it was Basuma or someone else in the team. I don't want to blame player that I can't remember, but whoever it was, might have been Madison or something, but Timo Werner at one point was clean through and behind. And Timo Werner is probably the fastest player on the pitch, and we still somehow overhit him and played it, practically out of play despite how clean through he was. That's just a sign that the quality wasn't there, and for the most part, I think sometimes the effort levels weren't exactly there either. And I don't know, there's tons of excuses for it, and there aren't always the explanations. But really appreciate your support today, Jerome. And like I said, would love to have you on a future fan show, even a future panel show or something like that. We do really respect your opinion, man. Jacob Bannister with a super chat. Richie or Kulu at number 9, Johnson or Moore? We'll start with Richie and Kulu first. Dave, we have the video coming out Monday about Kulusevski. What do you make of the striker situation right now? I mean, it's not ideal because it's one of the priority targets that we look to upgrade in this summer, and it's hard to know whether that's even going to happen. But do you have faith in Kulusevski, and do you have faith in Richarlison?
Look, I like Richarlison. I think when he's on the pitch, he helps us out. He does score goals. He's intense in the press. But the problem with Richarlison is the amount of times he's available. He's been here 2 years. And let's be honest, he's barely been on the pitch over the course of the 2 years. So it's not been good enough for him. And again, another player, your team can do all the rehab and everything you can do to try and get back early for preseason. We've left Korea and Japan, and we haven't even seen him take the pitch for a minute. It seems like, and Jack, you mentioned this before, it always seems like we're told Richarlison is ready. Then come game day, he's not in the squad. We get no explanations why and stuff like that. It's coming to the point where even his biggest fans are starting to just get frustrated with the guy. And look, for me, Kulusevski, he's very rarely injured. He's almost nearly always available, the guy. And I think Kulu can do a job up there. Look, obviously it's not ideal. Let me get that out there first. And I'm going to stress this. People probably won't listen and probably only take the Kulu part that I'm going to say anyway. But that's on them for not listening. But of course, I want this club to go out and get a striker, but a striker of note, someone that I have confidence in going into this season. Bringing in a Solanke is like bringing in Richarlison when we first brought him in from Everton to Tottenham Hotspur, where people had their doubts. It's the same in and around Solanke. We need a Tony. People say Gyökeres is a bit of a gamble. He's similar to Solanke. I'd argue I think Gyökeres' all-round game is far superior than someone like Solanke's, and that's why I think it's more of a safer gamble to maybe take than someone like a Solanke. But as it stands, if we're not going to bring one in, I'm going to take my chances with fucking Kulu and Will Lancashire at this point. Obviously, I don't want to get to this point, but if we do, that's where I'm going with it.
Yeah. With Richarlison, as plenty of people might know, I was kind of a big defender of his throughout last season and in the past. It's just that my biggest gripe with him, which I've maintained for a long time, is that those injuries I don't think have helped him whatsoever. They've continued to haunt him. They've actually hindered his time at Spurs. I think they've clouded those injuries, people's judgment of him. And I don't blame Spurs fans for having kind of a bit of a murky or kind of clouded kind of feeling on Richarlison because those injuries just don't help. You have to like cast your mind back to certain games and certain performances that are really good, but it's never consistent because he's never consistently available when we really need him. And even last season, he was in a fine patch of form, and then he picks up that injury again after already being injured in the beginning of the season. And he then couldn't finish the season in the strong manner in which we really needed him to actually help us get and finish in the top four. It's just Richarlison has let himself down with these injuries. I think he's let the team down with these injuries. And I just don't think he's someone we can technically rely on for a whole season. I think he's a really good guy to have around. He's a really good guy to either start or bring off the bench, depending on his form and how good he's feeling about his body. But its sad thing is, I just don't think he's going to be someone that we can rely on getting more than even 30 games out of. It just seems that's the case. He just doesn't end up really, staying consistently fit. And a bit of it also seems slightly mental for him, where he only plays well when he is feeling fully 100% and fully back to full fitness. And I think Ange Postecoglou is even starting to realize that, where maybe that could be why he's not even playing him right now. It's because he knows that Richarlison isn't really worth playing if he isn't feeling 100% and if he isn't back from injury. And that's a tough situation for Ange Postecoglou, which means then he has to think about other options. He's then leaned on Kulusevski. I think Kulusevski has a lot of potential at striker. He's not technically a proven player at that position, but I do think there's a lot to work with there. He's good hold-up play, good ball carrying. We know he works really hard out of possession as well. He doesn't mind the physical side of the game. I'm using kind of Sam's phrase, but I do think he can be like a bit of a battering ram when he is carrying it through the midfield. He has no problem receiving it under pressure or with his back to goal in the congested areas. He just has some, maybe improvements to work on in the finishing department. And also sometimes I think with decision making with Kulusevski can be a bit off. Then again, his hold-up play and his combinations with Sonny and other players have been pretty good this preseason. And I think there's a lot to work with there at striker. But that's a video that we have for the future on Monday. So for plenty of you guys to watch, so do stay tuned for that one. And then Johnson or Moore, I think it's kind of obvious for Dave and I. I think we're much bigger fans of Mikey Moore than we are Brendan Johnson. Brendan Johnson has been another player, we've said this before with other guys tonight, but he's a guy that struggled in periods last season. We would then expect that he would improve on some of these things in this upcoming season. We're not seeing much signs of it in the preseason, and I guess we can only hope that he really just becomes a different player in the actual season when it really matters, but you're kind of only hoping, right? There's no real evidence to suggest that it will happen, and this is the thing with Johnson as well. I think he had the stats and the output from last season to get a lot of supporters, but he also has a lot of detractors and a lot of people that are quite critical of him, like myself, like Dave. And I think this season's going to be a real kind of, a wake-up moment for him, or kind of a moment where one of the fan bases of Johnson is going to be proven right. Either the supporters of him are going to be proven right, where he has a really good season, he shuts us up, or he doesn't end up having a good season, and then a lot of the critics start to feel more justified. And I don't like that about a player. It's not good to be in that sort of position, but that's the position I think he finds himself in. And I don't think he can really do much about that, because he really is a very divisive player in this fan base. And I think part of that is due to just his performances on the pitch, what we're seeing with our own eyes. Some people find it to be, something that they don't want to read too much into. Others, like myself or Dave, do find it kind of concerning and frustrating when watching him. And it's only going to be this season where he can either prove us wrong or he can prove people right. And I guess we'll find out. And today was another day where Johnson is once again frustrating. The one thing I would add at the very end about him that I didn't necessarily like, that Dave seemed to explain by just it being a mental thing. At one point, he was limping and sort of walking around a lot on the pitch. And I'm a bit confused by that, because in the preseason, just take yourself off or have the manager take you off if you are feeling something. There's no reason to push yourself in a preseason game whatsoever. And he then later is making full 90-yard sort of sprints, at full pace, and shows that real speed that he has. I find that confusing, to be honest. Maybe he has that pain tolerance to push past it. But then again, why is he even staying on the pitch in the first place? That was a real concern for me, because he was limping a lot in this game.
To be honest with you, I think he was just looking for excuses to get out of there. I think he knew he was out of his depth. I'll be honest, I pointed this out last season on him tracking back, trying to help out the team defensively. I find him very, very lazy. I could accept that if that's Son, considering what he gives us going forward. But Johnson gives us absolutely nothing going forward. So a player that gives you fuck all going forward, the least I expect from him is to at least work his nuts off. And Johnson doesn't do that. And in the final third, there for instance today, right? The one breakaway he had, just put it in front of Son, let him go and compete for it. He plays it behind him. It says everything about the guy. The only excuse is when people talk about Brennan Johnson and what he does, or you know what he can bring, it's always what he could bring, but we haven't seen it. It's all made up. You know, we go off what we've seen on the football pitch. He's nowhere near good enough. I don't want to hear anymore. He could be this, he could be that, he might do this, he might do that. I heard it about Bergwijn and fucking Lucas Moura for a decade. I'm not listening to it anymore. The guy's 23, he's not a fucking kid. You see Mikey Moore coming out there, Bergwijn coming out there, Will Lancashire coming out there, Donnelly going out there. None of them shirk responsibility. We don't have to make the excuses for them. In fact, we actually sit there and go, oh, we're worried they might not be good enough. But then we give Johnson all the pass for not being good enough. I don't understand it. The guy is not good enough. Ange will fall on his sword if he continues to pick him. He's going to come back to haunt Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou went with him against Newcastle last season, and we were under the pump. We needed someone to show for an outball. Vicario even showed him a couple of times, I'm going to drop the ball in here. This is where I want you to be. Every time Vicario done that, Johnson's standing behind his man, not even willing to go and battle for it. The kid is so far out his depth, and I'd argue for his own sake, I actually think he needs to be taken out of the team, because I think it's only going to spiral. More fans are only going to get on his back when he's not performing. And I think Ange Postecoglou, it's actually to the point where he needs to do the kid a favour, take him out and start someone else, just so that the fans can get off his back, but also has a hint to him to say, come on, Johnson, I know it's not working out for you at the minute, but you need to figure this out. And when you do, I'll get you back on the football pitch. We can't keep putting him out there when he's producing absolutely nothing, because in effect, we're just out there playing with 10 men. So I don't understand why Postecoglou is persisting with him when the output is just not there. He's been in great positions this preseason. He's produced nothing. The only thing he has done is tap the ball in from 6 yards. It's embarrassing. I could do that. Give me a Big Mac before I go out there. I'll find myself in the right position and tap at home. And then our fans going to laud me. No, they're not. They're going to say, well, Dave, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. You know, it's madness. Just stop persisting with it, Ange Postecoglou, for your own sake, and give Mikey Moore the opportunity. If not Mikey Moore, somebody else. I don't care. Find a solution.
Mikey Moore has also just shown that he can actually, I think, once again, play at this level, and he didn't look that intimidated by the occasion or that intimidated by the opposition. The kid has a pretty strong mentality, and we know has exceptional quality, and he definitely deserves chances, especially if the guy ahead of him is not going to be playing much better or really doing much at all to keep his spot. Alan Leslie has become a Flat Cap member. Really appreciate it, Alan. Thank you for becoming a member. And you should see a lot of the benefits of that this upcoming season. Everything from a members-only podcast. We actually just recently did our match previews, which we do for every single game for members only. And we actually made it a live stream just for members only. So if you guys want it to be a bit more kind of community-driven, community-focused, I think we really enjoyed that last time. So we'd love to see you in the chat there, Alan. And thank you for becoming a member. Lots of good benefits coming. Also, fantasy football as well is going to be coming back this upcoming season. We're going to make improvements to that. You're welcome to become a member for that reason too, everybody. If you're into the fantasy football and you want to compete against Dave or I'll be honest, you're probably going to beat us because Dave or I don't really always do the best in the fantasy, so you can definitely embarrass us if you would like
this
to.
year, Jack.
Oh, well, never mind. Maybe it would be me that would be embarrassed by Dave and as well as plenty of you guys. But please get into the fantasy, become a member. I had a lot of fun doing that last year. We sort of dropped the ball on not giving all the updates on it, but I think a lot of people did enjoy it. And in fact, even towards the end of the season, people were kind of telling me that they were about to pass me and whatnot, and they were coming after me. So I really did enjoy the fantasy. So you have plenty of things to enjoy with your membership there, Alan Leslie, this upcoming season. The Spurs Danalist is saying, big up, guys. Missed a lot of the game. Why do you think the midfield did not work in the first half? How did Gray play? Did Basuma improve us when he came on? I think we'll touch on Basuma later because a lot of people disagreed with me, I guess, on Basuma, which they're welcome to. I think, like we've maintained before, when it comes to these games, there's always different opinions. There's always different takes, different seeing eyes from how people judged it. And some people thought Basuma played really well. I don't think he really did. I think he looked a little bit off it, way too casual, and his first touch was really off for me in a lot of situations that ended up leading to some really bad counterattacks for Bayern Munich, and at least in my opinion, but people are welcome to disagree in that. And I think his passing was off. When it came to Gray, I think he just looked really intimidated by the whole occasion. His sort of kind of defensive presence wasn't really there. They were playing through us pretty easily. And in possession, I can't even say he did anything really of note. And one of the opportunities that he did actually have to play like a line-breaking pass, he just really got it completely wrong, and it led to a dangerous attack. And even there was even one scenario where he gave it away, and actually Sonny saved it actually from going in as a goal. I think he had to clear it away from being tapped home by one of the Bayern Munich players. So I would say Archie Gray did not have a good day today, sadly, Spurs analyst. But Dave, I mean, what would you say to him? Why is the midfield not working?
I find it mad that we're criticising Basuma and everyone else is praising him when it was the opposite last year around. You know, we were sort of
we were defending Basuma last year.
yeah, it's madness sometimes the positions you find yourself in. Look, I think the midfield didn't work partly because Maddison's in it. I don't think he does absolutely anything. You're practically going in there with a man down, especially if you're not dominating the ball. Maddison can play in the midfield where you're dominating possession. If you're not dominating possession, he's effectively a passenger. You're carrying the guy. You know, he won't even drop into positions to block off passes. It's actually insane, to be brutally honest with you. And Archie Gray, unfortunately, it didn't work out well for him in the six today, but I'll go as far as saying it's probably being harsh a little because he's only 18, but he didn't exactly cover himself in glory against the K-League in that position either.
No, he didn't.
I would maybe add to that. But look, I'm keen not to put this all on Archie Gray. Everybody has an off day, you know, but he was a big problem in the first half, Archie Gray, because in fairness, when Basuma did come on, he did take a lot more responsibility getting on that ball and trying to play it out from the back. In fairness to the guy, my problem with Basuma, where it actually comes in to answer the second part of your Super Chat analyst, is I just felt like the guy was too lackadaisical. As many times as he progressed the ball and tried to help us, he almost cost us goals at the other end because of how lackadaisical he was on the ball at times. I just think if Basuma had a bit more, I don't want to say rush about him, or just maybe just sped it up a bit more, maybe desire about him to do things a little bit quicker, I think it'd actually help him out massively. I think today he was so lackadaisical. Every time he got the ball, it was straight on, press him. He's going to give you that ball. And it's not the first time teams have done this against Basuma because they know the risks that he takes. That's something he needs to speed up a little bit. But that's why, personally, I think he's had a bad game because, for me, a player that has a good game helps us going forward, but also doesn't cost us at the back. And he nearly did a few times today. So I'm going to stick by what I say with Basuma. I think it's a very mixed bag from him. I'm a bit disappointed, to be brutally honest with you. I think, yeah, he done better on getting on the ball, but outside of that, I'm not really sure what much more he done. He hasn't improved us defensively, getting across, taking people out, covering the fullbacks, etc.
Yeah. And the midfield was probably better in the second half, and I'd say a lot of that was due to Bergvall and partially due to maybe even some of the other substitutions that had come on. Strangely enough, like Abbott didn't play all that poorly. He actually didn't look that intimidated by the opposition, and he's not really even the most talented player in that academy. Alfie Devine came on. He looked okay. Didn't really make too much happen in possession, but he worked very hard out of it. It's just certain kind of little tiny tangible things that were just being shown more in the second half by the midfield. They also didn't get torn apart nearly as much, I think, defensively, the midfield in the second half as they were in the first. That was a big concern, was not only how poor they were in possession in the first half, but I think defensively they were just getting ripped apart, that midfield. And it actually led to, I think, Dragusin and Davies, who I didn't even think played that badly, but they did get exposed on a lot of occasions, Dragusin and Davies, because the midfield was just getting ripped apart throughout the game. So wasn't a great display from Gray, sadly. And Dave is right. Also against the K-League 11 in the number 6 role, he didn't look all that great or that confident.
I'd also like to throw in here, I don't know how he's managed this, but Vicario's managed to avoid
we said it during the watch long, but not at halftime or anything. Vicario did not have a good day. He did not have a good
30
day.
seconds in, and he plays an absolute hospital pass to Jed Spence. Look, maybe you could give that excuse to someone like Vicario. It's pre-season. I just hope he fucking learns from it and doesn't think that's a good idea in a game where there's 3 points or a cup game on the line, because it's absolute suicide. And when you actually look at it, that was the deciding factor today, that goal. So you can't do that again.
And also what was not really pleasing was him kind of doing something that Lloris was, guilty of in the
Yes.
past, which blaming others for something that's obviously your mistake. And that's something that we'd seen
Yeah.
Eric Dyer do, sometimes something we see Ben Davies do. And it's a very triggering thing for me personally is to see someone do that, where you are clearly the one who has made the mistake. You are clearly the one
Yeah.
that is responsible for that error, and yet you're throwing up your arms and making those kind of faces and like stuff like that. It's just that kind of does rile me up personally. And you are right. I am
Yeah.
just kind of baffled that we haven't mentioned Vicario that much, but it just shows that it's been that much of a weird day and a weird performance, that there were a lot of players that did not perform well, and there were a lot of players that really just left a lot to be desired, a lot of question marks, a lot of concerns about the tactics as well, the performance in general, the effort levels, the quality, lots of things that you can address, and it's only so much time and only so many things that you can try to remember all at once. Maybe we can say this, though. Pedro Porro would be the one I would exempt from all of this criticism. He was really good in the first half, the only bright spot in that first half. He did not seem intimidated, and he also was executing a lot of the passes and a lot of the necessary kind of build-up play that Ange Ball requires. And he was really good, and he scored. He didn't need to because he already was playing really well, and he scored a ridiculous goal, probably the goal of the preseason, alongside Sonny's goal for the goal of the preseason. Take your pick there. Let us know. Um,
I'd also like to add to that just quickly, Jack. I think you're dead right to praise him for what he done going forward. Not only the goal, but the split passes. The desire to make things happen going forward and stuff like that. But I actually think defensively he was solid today.
yeah,
Getting back in there, making challenges, and that's one area that I was actually very impressed with him. Because usually we expect him to be, actually, to be honest, we almost take it for granted how good he is on the ball going forward. We sort of just expect it to happen. But defensively, I actually thought he was good today, and all around he showed that leadership and that desire. Hang on, guys, maybe 2-0 down here, but I don't want to lose this game. So fair play to him. You're right. He's the only one that can really evade criticism today.
yeah.
Maybe Bergval as well.
Yeah, and some people are even pointing out that Brandon Austin made a few saves, which probably should have been mentioned too. And fair play to Brandon Austin as well, someone who I've just
I
seen
find
him.
it hard to praise him for today, considering last week. If he does it again next week, I'll praise him.
Yeah, maybe better opposition this time around, so it might have hurt even some of my recent criticism and felt like he's got to prove me wrong, which I hope he does. But everybody, it's been a long, long, long day. It's been a long watch along. If you have anything else you'd like us to discuss, you're certainly welcome to throw it in. We really do appreciate all the support, all of the analysis today. Like we'll maintain on these kind of divisive days, on these days where the performances are very much a mixed bag and there are a lot of concerns, we can appreciate that there are going to be a lot of difference of opinions. Something I might say won't be agreed on, something Dave might say, some people might feel differently about. We accept that. We understand that people have very different lenses, very different eyes. They see different things. There are things we miss. There are things you might miss. And we really do appreciate you guys for even tuning in, picking us to listen to, picking us to as your destination for these watch-alongs. Glad there were no technical difficulties for today as well. That wouldn't have made things any easier with how things had gone. And we just want to say we appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for the support today. It's been really immense.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely immense. Pre-match build-up and watch-along. You guys are absolutely sensational. Massive numbers for both today. Really do appreciate it. Look, result, maybe performance wasn't exactly what we wanted today. There's going to be plenty of fucking dissecting over the course of this week. Hopefully, it's that busy in transfers we don't have time to dissect this. If Daniel Levy wants to get out of this game being criticised, maybe he could open up his checkbook and bring in a flurry of signings so we can forget about the performance today. But it's a week now until the next friendly. So hopefully this week we do see some activity in terms of incomings, and you would like to think that they'd like to have them in to show off at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Bayern Munich next week. So hopefully that's the case. And lastly, guys, I know it's mad tension times out there between what people want at this football club and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think what gets missed in all of this, everyone wants the same thing. To portray that people don't want success is madness. Everyone wants the same thing. We got to stop going at each other. And, if we really want what we're looking for, it's actually better to unite and ask for it in unison than having people split all over the shop. So hopefully we can learn to respect each other. We're all human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Also, let us know. Do you want to see a Twitter reacts for tomorrow, or do you not?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we lose, we just don't do them because it's not fun, So
No, it's not funny. We
let us
kind of
know.
just end up repeating ourselves with what we've already
Yeah,
said, throughout this watch along, where we just, at this point, we start to become a little blue in the face, and we might even forget what we probably said 2 seconds ago.
and Jack needs sleep today.
But if you guys want to see it, I would be happy to put it out there. I'm sure Twitter is going to be very active, so maybe there is decent reason to do it. But if you guys prefer it just to be, I don't know, just this once, a bit more just positive or whatever you guys want, just let us know. Maybe in the group chat or something like that. Please just let Dave or I know what you guys think on whether you want to see a Twitter reacts. We can also just push the Kulusevski video that we originally had for Monday. We could just put that out for tomorrow if you guys would like as well. But other than that,
Lastly,
fan cams too, please. Yeah, we're nearly forgetting that. Dave, tell them about the fan cams.
Yeah, it's up in the community section after every single game this season, pre-season, FA Cup, League Cup, Europa League, Premier League. We have opened it to you guys sending in your fan cams, fan show and elite show members. It's a perk towards your membership. And basically what we'll do is after every single game, you go to the community section on the channel page, on the YouTube page, and it'll be up there. We put in some guiding points just in case people are stuck. But, you don't have to stick to them. You can really just sort of put what you want within that video message and, we'll upload it onto the channel. So if you want to start participating in them, all the details about it, how to do it, where to send it to, is in the community section for you guys. And please, we want you guys to send them in. We want to upload them. We want people to be able to interact with your opinions. It doesn't matter whether you share the same opinion as myself and Jack on things. Like we always say, we're open to difference of opinion. Sometimes people can say things that I might not have even thought of on a certain subject and stuff like that. So, just get them in and let us do the rest. So please check out the community section on the channel if you want to participate in that.
I would argue there's far more to talk about for you fan show members and elite members to send in those fan cams than maybe there were in previous games. I think Sean Maddox did a lot of heavy lifting in the recent fan cams, and we'd like to see someone also help out him in those contributions too, because Shawnee has been great to us in that department, kind of being the guy to get it started, and we would like to see more people join him. I know also Jim, Spurs Till I Die as well, or just a guy who loves Spurs, also threw in his fan cam. So we'd like to see some people do that and contribute to that, because I think that is a fun perk that you guys can do, and we upload them pretty much straight away. Dave does a good job waiting for them and looking for them, so please send those in tonight. Some people have said they would like to see the Twitter reacts. I'll do my best to do a good, healthy mix of what I can to not make it too toxic, but also to, at least acknowledge what has happened. And I think we will probably try to get that out to you guys for tomorrow. Kulusevski video on Monday. I think we'll update you guys on when the fan show will be this upcoming week. I'm not too sure exactly when, but there will be a fan show upcoming. And
I'm just going to say, just quickly, guys, it is Bank Holiday Monday over here for your boy, Big Dave. Now, no problem. If Monday suits the majority of people, I will be here. If you want your boy to enjoy the Bank Holiday Monday, then let me know and I'll move it to Tuesday. If that's where it suits many people. Just let us know.
Yeah, and I think, unless we're forgetting anything, we apologize, but I really appreciate all the support that we received today from so many of you guys, sending in your thoughts, sending in your comments. Of course, plenty of times, we might have a difference of opinion, but you guys, I think, do a great job in just seeing, things from different angles and from different eyelids, and really appreciate you all. On your way out, if you would like to, smash the like button too, please, and we'll see you for next time, everybody. Come on, you Spurs, the big Ange we trust. We never stop.